Greetings and salutations, folks. It's Friday or Saturday, the 5th of May. Cinco de Mayo here in the United States for those of you of Latin descent.
Fuck, I
I'm
didn't
your
know
host. I'm your host, TakersMinion, joined as always with my partner in crime and one of my best friends, Mr. Dr. Senju. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good morning, guys. How are you?
I'm all right. Yourself?
I don't know. I'm great. I didn't know that it was Cinco de Mayo. I forgot. Didn't forget that it was Cinco de Mayo. Crap. I didn't know that. Well, considering the fact that
You're on a golden week, so you've been out in the clouds walking around with nothing to do for a week.
Yep.
Gotta love government-sanctioned vacations, folks.
It's not just government-sanctioned vacations. This is the country-sanctioned vacation.
The government pushes it. You will take off such and such.
Yeah, but technically, it's not.
I mean, Jesus Christ! If you tell me, for what you tell me is true, you can't even get money out of a goddamn ATM machine during this week.
Of course, exactly. Well, some of the businesses go. It's not technically speaking that the whole country shuts down. It's just that everything goes to a standstill, almost to a standstill. Public offices are closed. Banks are closed. People already taking off just to go visit folks or just visit touristy shrines. Just enjoy the week.
Yeah, I mean, technically speaking. Well, like I said, people in my business wouldn't have a week off.
I know. I mean, like I said earlier on, it's the difference between cultures. I mean, technically speaking, it's not just what it's not the whole week that it's basically just April 29th, May 3, May 4th, and May 5th. That's the whole public holidays. Just that usually April 29th up to May 5, we consider it okay. That's the whole week of us just enjoying the whole thing. So, I mean, to be honest, okay, April 29th is the Showa Day. Basically, this is just your emperor's birthday. The birthday of Emperor Showa or Hirohito. And then May 3rd, you have the Constitutional Memorial Day. Just the promulgation of the 1947 Constitution of Japan. So that's that. And then you have on May 4th, you have Citizens Holiday and Greenery Day. Surprisingly, Greenery Day is, of course, the ascension of the current Emperor Akihito to the Chrysanthemum throne. So that's the name of the holiday. Then May 5th, we have Children's Day. So yay, final celebration of Golden's Week just to respect children's personalities and celebrate the whole happiness of children.
When is Boys Festival?
What?
When is the Boys Festival?
Boys Festival?
Yeah, the Young Boys Festival. Because I've heard something about it on May
5th. On May 5th.
Okay, so that's the same thing. Okay.
Yeah, Children's Day and Boys Day. Yeah.
Boys Day.
So
they changed it because they want to be politically correct. So.
Well, I think it's more. I think it's more. It goes beyond that because it started in 1948. The whole thing started in 1948. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, the whole thing started at 1948, and I'm surprised that when you were in service in Okinawa, you didn't have that. You didn't get to experience Golden Week, even with you in service.
Like I said, we were American soil, so to speak. So the local holidays and whatnot did not apply to us, and I don't think any bars out in town would shut down because of that, because they would lose too much money.
Exactly. I mean, like I said earlier on, the whole service industry just crawls to an almost standstill. Not too much, just a little bit.
Man, one thing I feel sorry for One Winged Angel when he goes over to the Philippines. I got him set up real good.
Why? What do you got?
Talking to your friend of mine, 3 Stars in the Sun.
Oh. So he's going to go meet him.
They're supposed to meet up while he's there. And I told Stars to make sure to give Angel plenty of mojo.
Plenty of mojo.
And he's like, "What is that?" And I explained. I said, "That's that multi." And he goes, "Oh, that. Yeah, I'll do that for sure." That poor kid will be so drunk he won't know what hit him.
Oh,
because it goes. I can tell you, it goes down like fruit punch. They're so good. It's great until you stand up to go to the bathroom, and then you're like, "Oh, wait a minute, what the hell here?"
Oh well, I mean, it's not surprising. I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, it will knock you on your ass.
Yeah,
Kind of like
those
an
drinks
RKO out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, of course. Speaking of RKOs, I mean, we should be talking about wrestling, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should.
We should. I mean, the pressure is mounting. Just
Mm.
thinking, just to sit.
Sorry for the delays this morning, folks, but we had some serious issues with this system.
Yeah, technical issues. It is a day where everything that we hoped would go okay suddenly turned out to not be okay.
Mm. Yes.
So we got the 500-pound.
We've got Smackdown Live.
Mhm.
We got Backlash tomorrow.
Mhm.
It took me 3 days to watch Raw, and it started out as what a stupid show.
I mean, okay, I won't rub the fact that I got my golden weekend that allowed me to watch NJPW's Ni No Kuni, Dontaku. I won't rub it in on that one because it was fun.
Yeah, thank you very much, because I don't have NJPW World yet.
Yeah, true. So I'm not gonna rub it in. I'm just gonna compile it all to say that it is a great show. It is just a great show, especially Dontaku's Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kazuchika Okada. I'd say this just to close it out. It is the culmination of how you're supposed to book two megastars, because these two can elicit any kind of emotion out of their audience. Even the women there are crying because of Hiroshi Tanahashi, because of that. So, in a sense that that match alone is a must-watch if you're interested in watching NJPW for this week. Yeah, for this week. I mean, you don't have to watch the whole Dontaku or Ni No Kuni, even though I'd say that okay, you could watch it. Just that for the whole Okada versus Tanahashi for the title, watch that and watch the crowd's reaction to the whole thing. It's just awesome. It's just awesome. That's exactly how you want to build. Yeah, it's exactly how you build two of your greatest stars.
Well, remember who's doing the booking over there.
I know, but again, like I said, that's how you're supposed to book someone who's hands down called the ace of NJPW versus your John Cena of NJPW in a good way. So.
Yes.
So, but yeah, you want to? Okay, let's start off with which one you want to crack first? You want to crack Backlash first, or you want to talk on the week?
Let's talk a little bit about Raw, because, like I said, it started out as, like I said, it took me 3 days to watch.
Ah, okay. Because here's the thing,
I watched like 45 minutes the first day. That was Monday. It was Tuesday morning, and then Wednesday morning I watched all of SmackDown.
Okay.
In one shot, which was actually a decent show. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get that in a little bit. Then it was Wednesday and Thursday. I finally finished up watching Raw.
And
it progressively got better.
Ah, okay.
The opening with first Roman coming out.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at the whole kickoff, because remember, they opened Monday Night Raw in Montreal.
Yes.
And Montreal is, well, one of the best towns you wanted to see a reaction in people.
Ooh. And I mean, Roman was basically booed out of the building.
He did. The guy you're supposed to cheer gets booed, and the guy you're supposed to boo gets cheered.
Of course.
I beat Brock Lesnar in that steel cage by Reigns. Boo! What the fuck?
Well, reading more stories, but I still don't, I consider the source Meltzer that it was supposed to have been Brock's feet who touched first, but he got hung up.
Yep.
So they had to do a
dusty finish like that.
They had to call an audible.
Ah, okay. I mean, I'll say this though: what a white hot crowd! The crowd is just awesome.
I mean, they even cheered. They somewhat cheered Jinder.
Yeah, because technically speaking, he's Canadian.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, so audience's reaction to the hometown guys was great, was fun. I love it. I don't really, just that the Reign situation continues to be frustrating and mind-boggling, though, because you do notice that the announcers try to brush off the whole negative reaction to him. Just Montreal fans being non-conventional. It's a bizarro land over in Montreal or wherever it is in Canada.
That's what
just brushing
that's what Graves was saying.
Yeah, he's just saying that.
And then when Sammy came out and started speaking French, the most asinine comment Coach could have ever come up with. My word for this hour is translator, because I need one. I mean, hello. What is the word I'm gonna? Evil American stereotype.
Evil American stereotype, and the place just came unglued, which is his other reaction to Zayn coming on. And I don't think he's wrong. He's correct in a way, saying that the place just came unglued because, my God, Zayn just got cheered like he's the world champion or something like that.
Well, that's his hometown too. What do you expect? He lived 15 minutes away.
Agree. Like I said earlier on, audience's reaction to the hometown guys, A+. I don't really mind.
I unfortunately think you're still living in the 90s where Bret Hart was the heel in Canada or the face in Canada and the heel in the United States.
Do you expect something? You expect anything different from the crowd? Oh. Do you expect something different out from?
No, I said, but you see my point.
Yeah. I mean, it's not surprising to me. I think just that I think it's more the whole Reigns situation to me. It's just
Reigns. I'm sorry, but Roman Reigns has been shot in the head as a face. He's dead, done. There's nothing more they can do for him. If they put the title on him now, it's gonna, the value of that Universal title is not going to gain anything with Roman Reigns having it. So, bump him down the card, turn him heel, and work him back up.
Yeah, true. I mean,
what else is there?
I find it hard to disagree on the phone because it's clear his babyface role is really, really ill-fitting to him right now.
And it's dead. I'm sorry, he is in the same category as Bayley. They screwed his character up so goddamn bad.
I mean, sure, they are currently trying to resurrect Bayley in a sense, trying to pull her out from our Bayley files both, in a sense. So yeah, and like I'd criticize that WWE hasn't done nearly enough with Lashley since his return to the point. This is just okay. I'm gonna throw Lashley out there. Let's hope for the best.
They threw Lashley out there, and then they sent Braun out.
Yeah, and then they throw Braun out there. Of course, Braun is going to save everybody.
Yes. Braun right now is your biggest face in the company. Put the strap on him.
Yeah. But no.
Why no?
No. I mean, I meant that, yeah, you should put a strap on Braun Strowman now because of his popularity. But no, WWE won't do that.
Of course not. You're going to have... Listen, pal, you're going to have Roman Reigns and you're going to like it. I don't give a fuck what you think.
But sir,
fuck you, that's why.
Vince, oh God. But to me, I think I want to wrap it up by saying the Raw main event scene needs some clear, focused stories quickly. Because this is going to be repetitive last year for Raw in a sense.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna just let's toss people in, hope for the best. Probably if it sticks, if it doesn't stick, let's do it again. Kind of mess. I mean, I won't say bad things about all 6 of the competitors. I mean, I won't say bad about Roman. I won't say a lot about Roman Reigns. I won't say much about Samoa Joe, Jinder Mahal, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, or just Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman, I can't find fault in him. He's just very popular. This is the most over guy you have in the company. Bobby Lashley, sure, Vince McMahon does look like he this is Vince McMahon's wet dream come true, made manifest again. But just that he doesn't really. WWE hasn't done nearly enough with Lashley. They really need something clear and something focused with all 6 of these guys, especially with the baby faces.
Yes, I agree 100%. They need to do something.
Yeah.
Legend Lover over here is saying, move Roman over to SmackDown.
Superstar Shakeup's already passed. So.
Yeah, they should. That's when they should have did it.
Mm-hmm.
Sent him over to SmackDown, hooked him up with his cousins, and turned it into a evil, heelish, or a heel faction.
Stable / Yeah, okay.
And I think it would have worked.
Mm-hmm. It would have worked. It would have.
But we as fans don't know what we want. We need to be instructed on who to cheer and who to boo, goddammit.
It sounds just like something on the real world kind of situation, but I'm not going to touch on that. Anyway, next we have Elias versus Bobby Roode, with Elias dissing the Montreal fans before breaking into song.
Is that anything unusual for him?
I truly am a gift. Sure, yeah. Not
is that anything unusual for him dissing a crowd? Is there not one town in the world that he likes?
I don't know if there is a town that likes Elias.
I was very happy when he was cut off in Saudi Arabia before he said something really stupid.
At least there's that moment. I mean, okay. The ending, though, I'm not going to comment on the ring. I'm not going to comment on the match itself. I'm just going to focus on the ending. Because the ending got my attention, not the average in-ring action. It's just paint by the numbers kind of things. You know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. You might criticize me by using this, by pulling back on the old school stuff. Rude's Ricky Steamboat moment could be the catalyst for this feud to actually get somewhere. Because this is okay. Aside from the whole entrance, the appeal of Bobby Roode's entrance that WWE has relied on, this is the first taste of story he has had on Raw. Something resembling
on
a story.
Raw or SmackDown, for that matter.
Yes,
he's been directionless since he came to the main roster.
Yes, and this is something akin to a storyline that we can see. Finally, yeah. And Elias, he continues to grow as a performer. I can't say bad things about him.
No, I can't either. I mean,
because he's improving.
He's the kind of performer that week after week, I find it getting more and more funny.
Mm-hmm. And
I look forward to seeing him being shut down every week. And I look forward to listening to Michael Cole having 10 shit fits over it. Becky desperately needs something, guys. We'll get to Becky in a little while.
We're not on SmackDown yet.
We're not on SmackDown yet.
We're not on
Dennis and Matt. Jeez. Everybody I can see already that everybody in the chat room has their own agendas.
Listen, we are the conductors on the show. We are the drivers of the show. Please follow the instructions of the drivers. Back on the track. Elias, I noticed that he keeps adding moves to his arsenal just to keep things fresh, just to keep things. Oh, he has something new in his pocket. Yeah. Just that I think one nitpick that I can pull that is he just needs a little bit more, a little bit more energetic opponent than Rude to bring out his best, though.
Well, let me put it to you like this, though. Rude for Elias is a very good first, Elias for Rude is a very good first feud. Because Elias has been able to, is one of those that can work from underneath. He works from underneath a lot in matches, but steals them in the end. Rude, on the other hand, is forced to not rely so much on. And I've heard this statement about Rude before being Mr. Chinlock. having watched that 6-man that we'll get into in a few minutes,
Yeah.
Kevin Owens is more Captain Chinlock than Bobby Roode is, I think, very much.
But I don't think the crowd doesn't care about that because, hey, Kevin Owens is our guy. Yay!
It happens here in the States, but I don't hear the same complaints about him.
Oh, no. Not at all. Not at all.
Which I here again, double standard.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
Mm.
I know. You can't really complain on the double standards that happens. It is what it is. We can only sound out about it. It's just that, do people listen? Sure. Do people not listen? Yeah, sure. That's true as well.
But anyway, yeah,
Okay.
that match was decent. You know, it was one of Bobby Roode's better matches that he's had since he's been on the main roster.
Yes, agreed. You know what's not decent? Authors of Pain versus Jean-Paul and Francois.
Typical local talent gets squashed match.
Mm-hmm.
And then they cut a promo at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Not too bad for their first promos on their own.
Uh-huh. Promo was nothing special, really. Just
No.
What you expect about Authors of Pain. Book-related puns and catchphrases. So,
and they won with, what is it? They used what was it? They used a Super Collider, then they did that other move. I can't think what they call it.
Super Collider and I think it's Shadow Machine? No, not
Shadow Machine is Revival.
Yeah, not Shadow Machine. I forgot all the finishing maneuvers of tag team. Anyway, no. Just my worry is that the Raw tag team division isn't really deep at this moment. This really won't be the last squash match.
It's called Last Chapter. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Last Chapter. Like I said, Raw tag team division isn't deep at the moment.
No.
So technically speaking, you won't see this as the last squash match you see. There's going to be more squash matches to fat up Authors of Pain, in a sense.
Although I tend to agree with something that was said by
someone.
By Metal Matt.
Again?
Taking Ellering away from them did hurt them. Because Ellering was their mouthpiece.
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with their promotion sans Paul Ellering currently, yet.
But will Vince bring Ellering back if the team falters? That's the question.
That's an interesting question as well. Should he be inserted back into the fold?
I think with once Brock leaves, Heyman leaves with him.
They need another mouthpiece.
They'll need someone to be a mouthpiece. And Ellering, I had stated before in several places that he didn't want to travel anymore.
True.
I said that in error. He came out publicly and said, I never said that. I love to travel.
Okay.
So it's like, okay.
So that means he can actually work a schedule.
What's going on here? Is there something between Vince and him that we don't know about, or what? Or is it just Vince doesn't want male managers anymore?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to guess nowadays, I think. Because you have to remember that the guy does. I think he does do a little bit of racing. I think it's pretty.
Yeah, he does do some racing.
Yeah, he does do some. I think he did some dog sled racing. I think.
Yeah, he's done the Iditarod.
And let's remember as well, he is not signed to a contract.
No. And he's signed to a Legends contract because he's in the Hall of Fame.
He is signed to a Legends contract. He's not a full timer. Just that. I think in the bigger circumstances, the Authors of Pain seem to quote unquote fire Ellering as a manager. That opens up a lot of things. Just that whether they wanted to put Paul Ellering behind the scenes, just to kind of say, influence the authors of pain in a backstage role, behind the scenes, behind the curtains kind of thing, just to, okay, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do, something like that, just to guide them through.
I can see that.
Or
we could also see him as a booker too, because Ellering he's no dummy.
No, of course not. Of course not.
He's a booking genius like Dusty Rhodes was.
Exactly.
No, Dennis, not Ronda.
Not Ronda. Wait, what?
He's saying Ellering could manage Ronda Rousey. No.
I think Ronda Rousey is fine on her own until we see something that we can nitpick and then just say, okay, Ronda Rousey needs someone here. Okay, one thing I love about Raw, Seth Rollins and Finn Balor reject the Mr. Raj.
And what they said should be considered sacrilegious.
Yes. I enjoyed the fuck out of it.
They insulted everyone of the Four Horsemen. That was no. I saw that. And I'm 1, 2, 3, 4 horsemen, and it's like, no, you did not say that. You just did not in one of the greatest heel factions of all times.
I know, which also leads to the fact that the Mr. Raj got beat up all the more sweeter, correct?
Yes.
There you go. I mean, it's enjoyable. I mean, last week they went to each of them separately. Okay, let's do a new form of the Shield. No, thank you, says Rollins. Bye bye. And they go to Balor. Let's do a new form of Balor Club. Let's do a new form of Balor Club. No, thank you, says Balor.
Then let's do a Four Horsemen.
Oh,
and Seth Rollins like, that will be a hard no.
That will be a hard no. I'm no good at this, but merci beaucoup. That was wonderful. And oh my God, I have to really put the focus on it. Oh my God, that Seth Rollins got a huge cheer.
Oh yeah, speaking French, they about wet themselves.
No, number one, but number two, his reaction, the crowd reactions on him is just.
Oh, I mean, did you notice? And I don't know if you noticed it or not, but I did.
Mm-hmm.
He was up there talking, and I mean, he was beside himself with the reactions he was getting in Montreal.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when Finn came out,
Ooh.
Didn't you see him slapping his arm?
Mm-hmm.
You know what that's saying?
Good job, man.
No. He had the chills.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, chills. He has goosebumps.
That is a simple answer to that.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. You can continue on. What was
I saw that and I was like, oh man, he's having a good time.
Yeah, he did.
They were having, and their match. Oh Jesus,
that was beautiful. That was wonderful.
Match of the night.
Yeah, probably. I think I could say hands down match of the night for Raw. This is the match of the night, and I think with Rollins, the whole thing, this is what you're supposed to do with Roman Reigns, but they kind of flipped the switch. Rollins got the cheers, Reigns get the. I hate to. Yeah, I got it, and I hate to rag on Roman Reigns a lot, but that's the reality of what we're facing. It's just that Rollins somehow Rollins is getting one of the best, he's been on a tremendous role in 2018. He's a strong babyface.
One of the strongest baby faces the company has had in years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And of course, Finn Balor flashing a potential heel side or just keeping the tweener side of him intriguing. There's plenty to dive into between these two once Backlash is done, I think. I hope they're going to start on a feud between each other after Backlash is done. So there's that.
Yeah. There's going to be, they got a matchup Backlash. That's Miz and Seth. Never mind.
Uh-huh. I don't really, how am I supposed to say this? I am intrigued. Basically, I'm having fun with the Intercontinental title scene at the moment, with the potential of Rollins and Balor feuding for the title. If they want to introduce a third person or a fourth person, I don't think it's a worry altogether, because it is exactly what we. I think it is exactly what we wished we wanted to have with the Universal title, but considering the fact that we always say ad nauseum that Brock Lesnar is holding the title hostage, this is what we're getting.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that this is what we're getting.
In a sense, I am too, because with Seth holding the Intercontinental title, and him proceeding to cut the promos on Brock now. And I'm going to give credit to someone I can't stand. The work that The Miz did with the Intercontinental title has made it more important than the Universal title. Unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
So in that sense, the IC title is like the World Championship title on Raw.
Yes, in a sense. Oh, and you know what? There's another potential, in a sense, you could say potential match of the night with the next one, Sasha Banks versus Ruby Riott.
Well, that was way before, because the Finn Balor Seth Rollins match was the main event. So
this could definitely arguably got also a shout for match of the night. I mean, I enjoyed the whole thing. But, somehow the whole when you start to see Sasha Banks match, you'd expect the high pace match, but this one is a measured pace for much of the match. It's kind of like, oh, this is slightly a different style on how Sasha Banks is supposed to do. It just churned along, measured pace, just going along forward, and then it starts to build itself up. It starts to rev itself up much to the end, in the middle, coming to the end of it. Right. It began to heat up. You can say it. You can say that.
And the selling that Sasha was doing, it was some of the best selling I've seen in a while from her.
Exactly. And Riot somehow had a lot more movesets. I mean, have you seen that cannonball version of the senton bomb she did? Beautiful. Yeah, I loved it. And she had Banks' number with a few counters, like a few counters of her own to Banks' own arsenal. Like there's one moment where Banks is trying to leap over Ruby Riott with a kick to the gut. Leap over Ruby Riott, countered with a kick. So there's that.
I mean, it was a nicely set up match.
It was.
But people were worried. People now are worried that Sasha is going to fall into the same category as Becky. Jobbing to put the new people over and becoming irrelevant. I just don't see that.
How am I supposed to say this? Because I see that it's no coincidence that so many of Riot's recent matches coming up has been so good. Because I'm going to say this. She's a great ring general. She's a great ring general. She's an excellent foil to anyone you want to put her in. You put her up against Charlotte Flair. She did an excellent job on that one. You put her up against Sasha Banks this week. She's great. WWE needs to keep showcasing her. Of course, the argument being said, the argument's going to say, what happens to her co-conspirators, Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan?
Well, you and I talked about that briefly on the pre-show.
It's just that I see that Ruby Riott is really different to two of her Riott Squad members. Different. So just different. I don't know. She could have. I
don't see how a punk rocker type, which is what Ruby Riott is, or actually goth. Excuse me, not punk rocker, goth, is aligned with someone like Liv Morgan, who thinks she's a cat's ass, and a country girl that supposedly chases down her own food on foot. when she was living in. It's not a good fit. Those three just don't look right. It just don't work for me. It doesn't, it don't work for me.
I understand that. I really understand that because there's a lot. 3 different personalities going in as a stable. If they were face,
the big question that has always been out there: what is their reason for them to join up in the first place? Every faction has one reason or another.
Yeah, agreed. Do they actually have a reason?
I haven't heard. I haven't. Oh, we're like tear gas. We irritate everybody. Okay. Yeah, you irritate, but it's like the main one that's in the ring is you, Ruby. The other 2 don't wrestle.
True. I can't find fault about it. Because the other 2 is generally speaking, they're the nuisance creator for the whole thing. So
they're the Samir.
They're the Samir and Sunil Singh of Riot Squad. I am sorry to say. Oh boy. But to be honest with you, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I enjoyed the match between Sasha Banks and Ruby Riott. It could have arguably been the match of the night for Raw. Just that Finn Balor, Seth Rollins versus the Mr. Watch edged them a little.
I guess you didn't hear what I had said.
Oh,
because I had gotten an error and boom, and dropped out and dropped back in.
Ow. Okay.
I had said that Ruby Riott or Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan are the Samir and Sunil.
I did. I did catch that halfway until you got caught out, and I finished it off. Yeah, I can see that. But again, okay. Do we need to talk about Moment of Bliss?
No. I muted it. I didn't even. I fast forwarded through it because no.
I'll say this quickly though. These segments are a case of talented mic worker trying to salvage a garbage script.
I cannot deal with that broad.
Sorry. Yeah, you can't deal with the broad. I can't deal with the script that she's been handing over. This is just
no.
You know that there's an after-school special vibe to hold. This feels like high school all over again.
Yes, and I'm like, we don't need it.
No.
And I just got that same thing again. That's the second time it's happened.
Oh, no.
We may lose this stream. Oh. Just giving everybody a heads up.
Yeah. Or how about I call in that kind of favor for a bit. Want to do?
Yeah,
to do that?
I said it's okay.
Okay. Let me just do that. We'll prepare. I'm sorry, guys, because
I might have an internet issue here. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, we're having quite a little bit of problem. But
I've had all kinds of issues today.
Somehow.
This is just briefly. I'm briefly gone and back. So I still have the controlling button that I need. So I'm good.
Good. But we're gonna prepare for this possibility.
I told you 10 minutes ago it was okay.
Yeah, I know, but I thought that we could just call in an this is us calling an audible. I think I can.
Why do I have it?
Oh, wait a minute! Fuck. Sorry.
I don't need it.
I know you don't need it. I know you can. You don't need it. Okay, let me just. Okay, I just sent the bat signal. I just sent the bat signal out. So let's continue on before you fall out again.
Yep.
Like I said, it's a whole high school vibe going in, and it doesn't do both women any favor. It doesn't do Alexa Bliss any favor. It doesn't do Nia Jax any favor. Like you said, all it's doing is making you hate Alexa Bliss for the wrong reasons. You just hate him. You just hate her because she's doing the whole high school bitch act.
I'm the victim here, even though yes, I made fun of her size.
Mm-hmm.
She attacked my friend. So what? How many times did that quote unquote bitch attack Nia? Hello.
I know, but
folks, this weekend this show is going to have a lot more blue language because I'm in a mood.
Yeah. I mean,
if your ears burn, people, but deal with it.
okay, let's move on. Let's move on as quickly as we can on this one. And then we have the other section of Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy's Woken Weirdness. You have anything on this one?
No, not really.
Not really, because I'm expecting more of this. They have great potentials. Is this gonna? I don't think it's either going to be Hardy and Wyatt making more of a creative effort, or just WWE is going to have to make a more creative effort, and I do not trust the latter to do that.
I don't trust the latter. As long as they keep let Woken be run by Matt, it'll be brilliant.
Yeah, but I think they need more. I think they need to do more.
I'm just confused by all of a sudden now they're using run. It's like, why do we need to run from them? There's no reason for us to run from them.
True. Yeah.
Unless the Lake of Resurrection,
Lake of Reincarnation,
Lake of Reincarnation effects are temporary. And Bray,
maybe
the succubus, the Sister Abigail gets back somehow, some way.
Somehow, some way. Yes, that's true. Hey, anything is possible in the Woken universe. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have the semi main event, kinda, sorta, kinda. The 6-man tag. Ryan Strowman and Lashley versus Mahal, Owens, and Zayn.
Good match for the most part. Although, like I said earlier, Kevin Owens is chin lock master.
Oh,
he held a chin lock for over 5 minutes. Okay, you know.
Oh, you actually took time.
Yes. And everybody talks about Rude being that bad. No, sorry. I'm sorry. Kevin Owens is worse.
I have a lot of questions. I really have a lot of questions.
Oh, go ahead then.
Why is Reigns, Lashley, and Strowman together?
I guess they're trying somehow, some way to repair Roman Reigns by putting him with Braun.
Probably, yeah. But
the only, if you notice, the only one he fist bumped with was Lashley. Braun. They never really
do anything together.
They didn't do anything together. They didn't high five, nothing.
Did WWE forget? Did WWE just sweep this under the rug that Reigns and Strowman had a blood feud for more than about 3-4 months?
Yeah.
Did WWE just do that?
Yes.
Another question.
They expect us to be dumb.
Another question. Why is Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Jinder Mahal teaming up together?
They're heels. They're all three are heels. Think about it.
Yeah, maybe.
There is that dynamic.
There is that.
And remember, all three of them, Mahal, Sami, and Kevin, all challenged Roman at the beginning of the show.
Number one, and number two, there's one underlying factor that I hate to point out. Probably because they're Canadian.
That's a possibility too. I thought about that, but I didn't say anything.
But I think the biggest question is that with the whole Strowman is being the highlight as per usual, because it's so obvious that he's the guy WWE should be investing in over Reigns. Why these two should team up is hard to understand though. Why did two guys who so blatantly, obviously tried to kill one another with ambulances, with garbage trucks, with whatnot, suddenly be on the same side together? So there's that underlying factor. That's the biggest question that I have.
Okay.
That is the biggest question that I have. So
what's that?
Why these two would team up? Why Strowman and Reigns should be team up? Because to me, I think WWE hasn't really given time. Didn't really invest anything to have two former enemies have a suitable reason to be on the same side other than the fact that they're facing heels. That's it.
Unless there has been some kind of mutual agreement made in the back of respect, which that's something that could have been done. We don't know. We'll never know. They're not going to tell us.
Yeah, agree. Because WWE thinks we're dumb.
Yeah, I said that before. They think we're all dumb.
Yeah,
they're not they're not people like us that cover it closely and watch every freaking thing that goes on, tear down every move in the ring to its basic parts.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that. I guess they're not coming.
Probably he's busy. Probably he or she is busy. I think the bat signal is still out. So
okay.
Okay, what's next? We have Baron Corbin versus No Way Jose.
Great match.
Really?
I thought it was a good match for one simple reason.
What?
Titus World Slide.
Okay, I agree. WWE is smart on that one. They're trying to capitalize on Titus O'Neil's trending moment. Although it played up O'Neil's clumsiness and made Corbin look like a bumbling fool. That's just me. That's just me. That's just my opinion.
Wily Corbin showed himself again.
Yeah.
I mean, the way they played up this whole thing too about the trip. With
Apollo Crews going to the ramp and dries the floor with a towel again.
Drying the floor, making sure it's not wet or anything. So, and then Titus, tippy toeing, like exaggerating tippy toe across the steel plate, which is great.
I agree. It will play up. It plays up that nicely, and then again, of course, we expect boring Wiley B. Corbin look like a bumbling fool, and he did look like a bumbling fool.
Yeah,
but
and Titus never directly interfered in the match, did he?
No, he didn't. At least No Way Jose got a win.
Yes, he did. But the funny part about it is that what did Titus do on the apron? He went to step up on the ring to go into the ring, and he stepped on the bottom rope, fell off. Caused Corbin to start laughing, and it cost him the match. I was like, oh, this is some brilliant booking here. This is great. That's what I said. Great match. Just that last 2 minutes was like, I laughed so hard. It's like, oh, this is great. This is absolutely fantastic.
Okay. I usually say that, okay, there is always a time and place for a wrestling comedy segment.
And this was the perfect place for it.
Okay, I yield.
But it leaves one question.
Which is?
Is No Way Jose part of Titus Worldwide?
I don't think so. Because I think
good morning to you, Mr. Fizz.
Is he there?
I see him.
You see him. Let him take a little bit more time, because I have. Okay, I was saying that I don't think so, because I think the more the story that they wanted to start push is Baron Corbin versus Titus O'Neil. Sure, it's a rivalry with a little appeal.
I think it would actually. You know what though? Titus O'Neil is someone that could kick Corbin over as other than a comedy act.
Okay. Okay.
Titus, you know what? Titus is one hell of a worker in the ring.
That I won't deny. That I will not deny.
I was going to say, you're denying the fact that he's a good worker in the ring? What's wrong with you, boy?
No. I'm not denying that. He's a consummate professional. That I can agree with. It's just that the absurdity of this kind of wrestling comedy to create a rivalry is something that I haven't heard of since ever, I think.
Well, it started in the back.
Yeah, I know.
When
started.
Renee was talking to Titus about the trip, which was great. Oh.
Give him a minute or two.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you saying? Like you were saying.
You know, they because he was back there making fun of him, and that was not good.
So Baron Corbin is trying to fool somebody who's already considered kind of foolish, given the numerous times that his grand schemes have failed so miserably. He's now trying to make a fool out of Titus O'Neil, who is the master of all the fools.
No kidding. I mean, it was a great segment, was it not? With the last two and a half minutes of that match.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Good evening,
Apollo. Good morning, Fizz.
Good morning. It is the month of May, folks. The sun is shining. It is like about 70 degrees out here in New York after it had been freezing cold for several months. And, well, if you had to ask any wrestling fans in the area or, around the world, I would probably be one of the few that was in relatively good condition because a lot of people I noticed really burned themselves out this WrestleMania season. And, well, I did a plan where I took a vacation from wrestling for a few weeks. I only watched TakeOver, Mania, and a local indie show last week that somehow has 57 views on it. And also fitting because it's that show was actually my 1-year anniversary show, and I completely forgot that was the 1-year anniversary show of the revival of Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling.
Oh joy!
Oh joy!
At least I'm not burnt out yet.
Oh no, you're not, because you two pace yourselves.
We try, and
we try.
Folks, I might as well say this now. I'm gonna throw MDS and myself are throwing a wrench into next week.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, okay. I know what you're gonna say, Richard. Go ahead.
Yeah, we are going to be discussing the Sumo Basho that starts next Saturday night / Sunday morning for us here in the States.
Whoa! No! I'm gonna throw you a wrench now. How about we do it now?
The Banzuke is already released, guys.
Yeah, the Banzuke was released early. It was released on the 29th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I already looked at it.
Considering that we're almost finishing, how about we start the whole discussion on Sumo Basho right after Raw before SmackDown? I think
that.
Yeah.
You're the most knowledgeable person in the room about sumo there, Fizz. So
okay, let me go get the traditional Japanese drums out. I'm just gonna use my people here.
While he tries to, let's finish up on Natalie versus Mickie James on this one.
Decent match. I kind of like the ending.
I do too. I find it hard to say.
With Ronda being there, you knew Alexa was neutralized. There was nothing Alexa could do.
Nope, not at all.
Alexa got up on the ring, and Ronda just walked around the corner and gave her that look like, "You better. I'm
gonna eat you.
You better get your ass down, bitch, before I rip your arm off."
Yeah, you better get to stepping.
I've had to listen to Natty and her 50,000 million cat memes. I am primed and ready to rip your shoulders out.
There is a lot of history with those two, though, with Ronda and Natty.
Yeah.
That she's one of the few people that can actually put up with her insanity.
Somehow,
some way. But the thing about it is that for almost a year, Ronda was training down in the Performance Center and with Natty. And Natty kept it all quiet.
Sure.
Well, of course, who's gonna talk to Natalia Neihart? They're gonna get stuck in a conversation about cat memes for about endless. She makes the crazy cat ladies look sane by comparison.
Yes, I'm the one that pointed out her buns that looked like ears almost over a year ago now.
Although now she only has one bun. In a sense, but hey,
she has one bun, but she wears plastic cat ears.
True. Okay. My nitpick. This felt like WWE had run out of time for the Raw Women's title feud. Just okay, we're finished up with time. Let's try to cram all this in a quick moment to move things along. Natalia versus Mickie James, and then you have Alexa Bliss in there. Oh wait, Natalia has a friend in Ronda Rousey. Let's toss her in too, for heaven's sake.
Well, what was good is that when Alexa reached the top of the ramp, who came out?
Nia.
And what did Alexa do?
She freaked out because she's now facing against the world's greatest invisible wrestler.
Which I have to say this much about Nia. She has come a long way.
Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, here's the thing about my invisible wrestler comments. I've watched DDT Pro regularly. They have an invisible wrestler on the roster. That invisible wrestler is actually a great wrestler.
Yes. Oh.
I mean, and then Alexa took off. Nia walked to the ring and looked at both, and just gave them both a hard look, and then picked both their arms up, was smiling with them. I mean, right now, Nia is solidly in the face camp.
Oh, yes. Come to Auntie Nia. Let me give you a hug.
Oh, great.
And suddenly every single bone in Mickey James and Natalia's bodies breaks.
Remind me who the invisible wrestler in DDT Pro is?
I think it's the Japanese word for invisible.
Oh, correct.
I think it's Kumitsu or something.
Kumitsu something.
Like I said, that was a great moment. It's like she's first looking at him like she's going to tear them both up, and then smiles, raises her arms, and I mean, perfect timing to get Nia solidly in the face camp. Put her in the ring with Ronda, and she'll shine her up. Ronda has that much. She's got so much charisma. It just pours off of her. They can put anybody with Ronda, and they'll be over just because they're with Ronda.
Oh boy, it's going to be something that's. I'm going to be surprised in saying that I'm going to be entertained by this one as well, somehow in some way. Although Nia Jax squashing Alexa Bliss for the second time in a row is going to be a little bit entertaining, purely for the fact that one humongously large person is going to squash one humongously small person.
Well, technically, Alexa's a super heavyweight, so. She can lift an entire building, okay?
That's what they want us to believe.
The 5-foot pixie Hulk, sure. Anyways. Okay, I'll wrap this up with the whole Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor after they had that moment with Mr. Raj.
Oof.
How many Japanese charms have you thrown at Taker, by the way, Senju, because he complimented the Miz again?
A lot, I think. About 5 of those.
Well, between
charms.
Miz, Roman, and Seth, and I'm giving everybody the credit that's due. They've made the IC title more important than the damn Universal title that's around Brock's waist. Brock right now is an afterthought.
Oh, of course.
Although, to be honest, anybody here disagree with that?
I kind of disagree with that, but then again, I'm not a person that particularly cares about title belts very much. If a person has a title belt around their waist, there usually is a person I'm not paying attention to very much. I'm usually paying attention to the wrestlers that are engaged in feuds instead of the wrestlers that are engaged in title belts. Now, obviously, it will vary in certain situations. Like mainstream promotions, I don't really care about the title belts very much. Independent wrestling promotions certainly do, because that means that's the top person on your promotion, and that's the person that you rely on as your draw, regardless of if he is a face or a heel, or vice versa for a female wrestler.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I'd say in the sense of WWE and looking into WWE in this, it's if Raw isn't going to have the Universal Champion around, leaning on Rollins and elevating a mid-card title, letting wrestling reign is a good way to go. Just that, like Fizz said, sometimes in the absence, in the presence of someone who's holding the title, there's always someone who's not holding the title that's not on display a lot. And I'm happy to say that this isn't really the case, because these two men have great chemistry on display. They could fight every Monday and still make magic. So
And I mean, Seth is trying to be as careful as he can be with Finn, because last time that these two got involved in wrestling ring, my mother is so panicked about it, like, oh my god, they have him paired with who?
And I think the same goes with Balor as well, trying to be careful with Rollins, because the same happened to him as well.
Well, Rollins got injured by Kane via table spot.
Yeah. Then again, these two are just being careful with one another. But then again, the pacing was fast paced.
Oh, they were in Montreal. I mean, they were in Montreal. Either the pace, if the pacing wasn't fast paced, then there will probably be some kind of riot.
Yeah. See Rollins flying around the ring. See Balor hit people with so much force that you could be surprised that this is the grinning from ear to ear Finn Balor, who's happy to be there.
Just don't do any super kicks, or otherwise we won't make it out of Montreal alive.
Oh God!
Funny story. A couple of my indie wrestling buddies actually did an independent wrestling show up in Montreal the same day that they were doing a show in Jamestown. 3 of them were up there in Montreal doing a show, an independent wrestling show. And I joked with some of the wrestlers, like, one of them is named Kevin Bennett, and his nickname is Buffalo's own HBK.
Oh boy!
He was up in Montreal, and I joked to them, I hope Kevin doesn't do anything HBK related, otherwise there'll be a riot in Montreal.
Oh,
yeah. Oh boy.
Well, okay, that's all we have with Raw. we had a great main event. We had a good main event on Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. We had
I said earlier, match of the night.
You said match of the night was. Oh yeah, you said match of the night was Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. Yeah,
20 minutes. A good solid 17 to 19 minutes of actual action, and it was nonstop.
Of course,
those guys went at it, and it all boils down to the number of matches they've had prior. You know, the more you're in the ring with someone, the more you can learn about what you can and cannot do with them.
Oh yeah,
familiarity plays big.
Oh, of course. There's no question. There's no doubt about it. When you're familiar with one another, you know what ticks, what not ticks. What ticks, what can't be done with the person. You know how they will react to any of your moves, or they react to any of your audibles. Right. You know how you'd react with any of their audibles. So, you know.
Exactly.
Anyway, that was Raw. I think I'm not. How am I supposed to say this? I think it was a paint by the numbers kind of match. I think it could easily be a forgettable Raw week until you see Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, and Sasha Banks versus Ruby Riott.
Yeah, and the backstage segment with Titus and Baron, and then the shenanigans at ringside with Titus and Baron.
Of course.
They sure solidified the Wiley Corbin.
Sure. Why not? Sure.
I mean, so I give the show a high B.
Okay. Fair enough.
For a go home show, it was actually pretty good.
Oh yeah. I'll agree to that. Yeah, I'll agree to that too. For a go home show, it was good. It's not great. It's not bad. It's just good. It was good.
Oh, let's put it this way: it's one of the better ones that we've had.
Okay, fair enough. Usually, go home shows with WWE aren't really that good. Yeah, go on.
The funny thing about it is that none of the stories going into Backlash were touched upon.
Oh, none. But again, I don't see any problem with that with this one.
No, because
you're going home.
Because you got, let's see, 1, 2. You got 2 inter brand matches on the card at Backlash.
So it's basically like 1990s WCW.
Yeah, middle, just stuff before the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah, where they were doing tournaments with New Japan Pro Wrestling and doing international stuff.
Right.
1991, I believe. Yeah.
This was, like I said, this is for a go home show. This is one of the best ones Raw's put out in quite a while.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so with Raw over and done with, should we talk about SmackDown, or should I cede the floor to both of you talking about the Bar Show?
Well, you can comment on the Basho too. We're not totally eliminating you.
No, I'm not. No. Why the hell? I'm just being.
Let's get into it won't take us long to cover it. I don't think.
Yeah, go ahead. I know.
I'm calling this Basho the Ozeki run of Tochinoshin.
Okay. To those folks of you who don't really know much about sumo wrestling and sorts, these two guys, Fizz is one of the premier knowledgeable persons about sumo. Even I'm, who's living here, don't really watch sumo that much, just because I don't know why. Somehow Taker got into this and got so into it.
Well, Taker was into sumo wrestling back in the 1990s, but he lost touch with it, but it was because of the fact that I had become interested in rewatching sumo wrestling around 2016 or so. That I always like sharing the knowledge of sumo wrestling. There's a series called The National Art of Sumo, which covers the decades of sumo wrestling from the 1940s to the 2007 to 2011 season, I believe. And I shared that with Taker, I shared that with Duke, shared that with a few other people. And I'm not exactly the most knowledgeable person about sumo. There are a lot of other sumo historians who are a lot more knowledgeable than I am. But at the same time, 2018 in sumo wrestling. Now, I haven't really been covering sumo wrestling that much on Wacky World of Wrestling, primarily because of the fact that I felt as though that every time we did a sumo prediction, me and Sal, for whatever reason, it was like, I would always make a prediction that this might be a weird basho or that basho, and I did not expect to be right in that situation. As I've always said, I usually don't like being right about things.
Somehow you are.
And yet somehow I was, because in January, a Megashira wrestler named Toshinoshin won the basho.
Yeah, Megashira 3. He was a Megashira 3 in January.
And then in March, a Yokozuna who was about 5 steps away from retirement won the basho in the March one.
Yes.
So I have here with me a list of active sumo wrestlers. I guess we could start.
Before that, you have the Japanese drums, correct now?
Yes.
Sure.
It's time! It's time for sumo! We have the May Sumo Basho is upon us, and this is going to be a very interesting thing for you folks who may not necessarily be familiar with the art of sumo wrestling, but there are various different ranks within the world of professional sumo. You have Yokozuna, Ozeki, Sekiwaki, Konosumi, the Megashira rank and file wrestlers. Then you have the 2nd Division Juryo wrestlers, then the 3rd Division Matsushita wrestlers. And you have Sadamane, Jordan, and Jonokuchi. And it's a rank and file system. You go up the ranks by winning and doing well in tournaments. If you win a tournament, then you go up a rank or close to it. And basically, your goal is to get into the Megashira division, which is the top 42, or get into the Juryo division, because those are the highest paying ranks in sumo that aren't Yokozuna, Ozeki, or Sekiwagi, or Konosubi. We have a diverse field of wrestlers. We once again have a Megashira 17 East in a tournament for this May Basho, and the Bansuke was released in late April on the 30th. And it's going to be very interesting. We'll start at the top with the Yokozunas, with last tournament's winner, Kakuru.
Yeah, who had a hell of a basho. This last one, he went what, 13-2?
He went 13-2, yes.
Which was, you said was a surprise. He was the only Yokozuna there, because Yokozuna Hakuo was still out because of his injured feet or injured toes.
Yep.
We do not know at this moment whether Hakuo is still entered in this tournament.
Probably not, because he's still out injured. As far as I can dig up, anyways, Hakuo is still injured. Because remember, he's from the West Side standings on the Spring Basho. He's basically non-existent. So
he withdrew in January.
He did.
Yeah, he defeated Tochinoshin, then lost 3 in a row and withdrew. Claiming injury.
Yeah, and I don't think that's how to say hard. I think it's fine.
I also think he's there's a lot of talk that he's saving himself for the Tokyo Olympic Games because he wants to be the one to do the opening ceremonies. There's that rumor too.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I just heard a race car going outside your house, Senju. Was that like
No, that's
No,
probably
that was-
mine.
okay.
That's not mine. That would be him.
Yeah, I've got windows and doors open here today because it's like 68 degrees right now with a southeasterly or southwesterly breeze at
Mhm.
about 10 miles an hour. So it's nice
Mhm.
after being cold for so many months like you had there, Fizz.
I don't mind the cold really, but yesterday we had a tornado over in I think Frewsburg, which was like about 15 miles from my house. So that's fun.
Okay.
You have a basement, correct?
Yes.
Were you in the basement?
No, because it was 15 miles away from the house, and we could get
What
ourselves
direction? Southwest of you or
Yeah.
northeast? Tornadoes generally travel in a southwesterly to northeasterly direction, so it
Mhm.
could have hit your area, but it didn't.
No.
Probably
But it-
gave up before then.
Mhm.
So yeah, he finished 13-2, and he finished 11-4 in the January Basho. He sat out. He basically had a struggle last 2017 due to injury concerns, and well, because of a certain Yokozuna who got had to force to retire, Aruma Fuji.
Yep.
Kakeru had to save everybody's bacon and the honor of the Yokozuna by actually winning a tournament.
Yes.
Which he did wonderfully, 13-2. That's nothing to ridicule about. He did very well for himself.
I think he finishes either 11-4 or 11-5 or 12-4 in this tournament. I'm not sure if he's going to necessarily win this Basho because there's a lot of hungry sumo wrestlers that might be able to steal the crown from him. He had a bit of a shaky last half of the tournament in March, and I think people are going to try and counteract some of his techniques. Hakuho, like we said, he's probably not going to be in this tournament. Continue, Senju.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one because the last two losses that Kakuryu had was actually on his final two matches. Against one of them was against Goido and the other one was against Takayasu. So somehow coincidentally he lost the final two matches, but still maintained his 13 win streak. So
well, he had it locked up the Friday before.
Yeah. But still, losing to Takayatsu and Goedo is a little bit. I mean, you can lose the Ozeki, that's kind of fine, but at the same time, those are the two guys that are, well, less so Goedo, but Takayatsu's definitely interested in the Yokozuna promotion at some point.
Oh yes. That's true.
So Hakuho and Kinasato are the two guys that we are not sure if they're going to be in this tournament or not, or they'll withdraw due to injuries or whatnot.
Okay. My first question to you two: would the absence of both Yokozunas and Hakuho and Kisenosato affect the Summer Basho?
Yes. I think Kisenosato has always been a guy that's been relatively consistent. He's had a disappointing last year or so, but he's a guy that's sort of a roadblock to anybody who could get the Yusho victory. Hakuho, same deal. Guy is absolutely vicious on the Tachiai. Has a really good charge. The problem is his charge is being affected by his toe injury. And, I think in this situation, if you have Hakuho and Kisenosato out, it does make it easier for the rank and filers to get a bigger win total so that they can compete against the Ozekis, the Sekiwakis, and the Kosmosubis.
That is true. I do have an issue with one of the Ozekis, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay. Okay. What else? Okay. Secondary question then. I know this is an outside thing, but if Takayasu were to win the Summer Basho, could he be looking at Yokozuna?
If he wins 2 tournaments, then yes.
Yeah, you have to win 2 tournaments in a row.
Yeah. And do you think he's capable enough, Yokozuna? Both of you.
I think so.
He's a bit inconsistent, but I think that he can get through some of his technique issues, and I think that what they're going to try and do in this situation, because he's part of the same stable that Kisenosato is a part of. He may be the backup in case Kisenosato's injury concerns are to the point where he has to retire, which I'm not sure if he'll do it this year, maybe next year, but he's got 12-3. He's been the runner-up for the last 2 tournaments, and He's at East Ozeki 1 once again. He
Mhm.
needs to have a solid summer basho, the Natsu basho in May, and then the Nagoya basho in July. If he's going to get a promotion, it will either be at the Aki basho in September or the Kushu basho in November, depending on if he wins 2 tournaments.
That's true.
He's never won a tournament before. He's been runner-up 3 times, once in 2013 and twice in 2018.
Yeah, because I think that's the particular news that we here that was brought up. Because if Takayasu was to win, could he be looking at Yokozuna? Just that my issue and my only concern, I think some people's concern is that he's wildly inconsistent with his performances.
Yeah, he is. That's the thing with Takayasu. He is a bit inconsistent. He'll have a run of, and I've seen it. He'll have a run of 3 or 4 great matches, and then all of a sudden he'll trip himself up. Literally, I watched him trip himself up and fall.
Okay. Okay. I think this is the biggest question that I have, and I already asked Taker, but sure, Taker can jump in on this one. An Ozeki run for Toshinoshi, is it on?
Possibly. I mean, it depends entirely on it. It depends entirely on his record. I mean, he needs to get 33 wins. That's the magical number.
And he's at 20. He's at 23 now.
He's 24.
24. Counting his Basho victory in January.
Okay. And here's my 2 questions. Again, I already asked Taker. Does he need 9 or does he need 11? Which one would you see is the
double digits? Double digits would do it better for him, I think.
I think double digits as well. I think depends. He typically has a decent run in May. The Natsubasto, statistically, he has a 7-8 performance in 2008, 9-6 in 2009, 8-7 in 2010, 12-3 in 2011, runner up. 9-6 at East Lancashire 8 in 2012. A 2-13 performance when he was dealing with his injuries in 2013. He won the championship in West Matsushita in 2014. 9-6 at West Megashira 1. 10-5 West Megashira 4, and runner-up last year at East Megashira 10. I think the big thing in that situation is that as long as Hakuho and Kasuna Sato are not in the basho, I think he'll do okay.
If those 2 aren't in it, I believe he'll get his promotion. It's key on Hakuho and Kasuna Sato not being there,
or not at 100, being at 100%, depending on what happens.
Let's put it this way: if he, let's see, the 3 Yokozuna that are there, he defeats 2 of them, and does.
He fell off.
I'll take it.
It's okay. He'll jump back in.
Okay. So Goedo is the guy that I think we're going to be talking about next, because Goedo is a guy that he does not like very much.
Of course.
He's like Goedo is Mr. Inconsistency, folks. Takayasu, you think is inconsistent or inconsistent? Goedo is considerably worse in this regard. He can have performances where he'll go 11-4, and then the next tournament he'll go 9-6 or 8-7 or 9-6 again.
I'm back. I'm back again.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Okay.
I was saying if Toshinoshi gets 2 of the 3, let's say he beats Kakiryu and Kasuna Sato, but loses to Hakuho. He doesn't. Toshinoshi does not lose any face.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Hakuho is what 40 bashos total.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, we were talking about your favorite wrestler, Goedo.
Oh, Mr. Henka.
Mr. Henka, yeah, there you go.
Well, Hakuho is technically Mr. Henka, but at the same time, Goedo's kind of also done the same thing. Except in his case, it doesn't really work out.
No, but
the difference between Goedo and Kiseno Sato is that Goedo pulls out filthy Henkas.
Yeah, Goedo just stepped when he was against Toshinoshi. Goedo just stepped to the side, didn't do nothing.
No, of course not.
They called it a slap down, but it wasn't a slap down.
No, it's not.
Goedo never really touched him.
Yeah,
so,
but still,
question for you, Senju.
Sure.
Since you live in Kyoto, What is the reception outside of Osaka for Goedo?
Oh,
He's not very well liked.
yeah. I think, technically speaking, he's still. I think it's more 50-50 over here than outside of it. Outside, he's very well disliked.
So basically, he is what, the Roman Reigns of sumo.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, because you could say that. Okay, he's born in Osaka, number one.
Yeah.
So,
Local boy, last basho.
Local boy. Yeah, local boy, last basho. He's favored, but the whole thing is 50-50 considering the fact that he fight in historic ranking, in historic fights, in historic wrestle between Goedo and his opponent. Usually he pulls out, like I said, filthy hankas. Basically, he fights dirty. Even though he doesn't look like he actually does fight dirty, some of his moves are considered dirty in a sense.
Well, Tochinoshin even said something about it in the last basho.
Exactly.
In his interview, he felt that he said Goedo's dirty.
Yeah, because the guy, I think it's more because he knows creative ways to actually get. I think it's more an unconventional ways of sumo wrestling. Because
the thing about it is too is that Goedo, he knows if Tochinoshin gets left hand outside, right hand inside, he's done.
Yep. Because
he gets that position on you. Tochinoshin's strong enough to pick you up. And I saw him pick up Ichinojo and get him out of the freaking ring. And Ichinojo's what, almost 600 pounds.
600, yeah.
Now, let's see here. His current weight is 474 pounds.
Okay.
So he's near 500 pounds. He can pick. He literally picks him up and carries him out and sets him down.
See,
Tochinoshin is strong as an ox. I don't care what anybody says.
If his knee holds up, he's going to be in a good position this basho.
yeah, true. But I think both of you can agree that Goedo, it's a yosusumo wrestler, basically. He prefers, which means that he prefers grappling rather than pushing with wrestling. He doesn't force you out. He'll actually wrestle you out from the sumo ring, because he puts that's how he styles. And people say that that's really uncommon because usually you want the sumo wrestlers to push people out. This guy grapples you out. He'll pick you up.
Goedo's more of a grappler as is Tochinoshin. But Tochinoshin could also be a pusher thruster.
Yeah.
He can go both directions. He's worked on that style. He won more matches. He won, I think, 5 of his 10 matches, half of his matches in the last basho as a pusher thruster. He pushed people out of the ring. Plus, he was also the group I was watching it with is the same person you gave me the link for before, Fizz. And he's up on a different streaming service now. I sent you the link back to it last basho. And some of Tochi's moves this past basho we were calling have judo, have judo inojo or something like that. Yeah, that's a move because he was using judo throws to win.
Yeah, because Georgian sumo wrestlers use judo in judo and in their martial arts techniques. It's the Eastern European style of wrestling technique. That's why the Mongolian wrestlers do so well, is because their style of wrestling is very similar to sumo wrestling.
That's true.
And speaking of the ginormous wall that has somehow managed to climb himself out of the middling Megashira ranks, we have Ichinojo, a wrestler that we have kind of decried over on Wacky World of Wrestling, but since we decried him, he seems to have gone, okay, well, I have a massive amount of bulk. I'll just lean on people until they either collapse from exhaustion or I can chuck them out of the ring into the 3rd row. He is currently at Sekiwaki West and has actually been doing fairly well the last couple of tournaments. 10-5 in November, 10-5 in January, and 9-6 in March.
Oh boy!
Why? What are you laughing about now?
Ichinojo, because if you look at his photo on the Bansuki, it looks like he's sleeping. And that was the running joke on the service I was watching. That all he does is eat, sleep,
wrestle,
lean on people.
repeat. I think you could make a shirt.
We're sitting there cutting jokes about him eating the salt box, concessions, and eating everything in concessions. I mean, we were just having fun.
I mean, sure, the guy.
The guy is huge. Okay.
Yeah, he's built as one of the heaviest men in the top division. So yeah.
Yeah, he is.
What is the reaction for Ichinojo in your neck of the woods?
Mine?
No, I was referring to Senju.
Oh. Oh goodness, he's lovable. I think he's lovable, considering the fact that he's from Manata. He's from the central parts of the stables, as Minato stable in Tokyo. Of course, he's gonna be popular, isn't he? He's just lovable. You can't help but like the guy, even though he's just eat, sleep, push the other guy out from the ring, repeat. It's just that he's not. How am I supposed to say? He's not that. He doesn't really pull a lot of eyeballs to himself because he's the quiet guy. He's kind of like the quiet guy. So no comments on stuff. It's just that he's just let's just say he's one of the company men in a sense. Yeah. If you want to speak about wrestling terms, he's one of the company men. You tell him what he's supposed to do as in the JSA, he'll do it. And luckily enough, he doesn't really get involved into those backstage JSA politics in a sense. Just that it's not his style.
Yeah, he's a bit of an outsider considering he is from Mongolia.
Oh, yeah, obviously. He's a Mongolian. He's one of the Mongolians who do sumo wrestling. So, and he's also an expert about it with his background in traditional Mongolian wrestling. He participated actively in both. So that's one.
Yeah. I mean, the influx of Mongolians, and for that matter, Gaijin, because it seems that each stable has one. That's the rule. They're allowed one. And I do not know if Mongolians qualify as a Gaijin.
I don't know if they qualify in that sense.
I don't. To be honest, I don't either.
Because there's no. Everywhere I've looked, I've not seen.
Because here's the thing. Here's the fact of it. Here's the fact of the matter. Any Mongolian who comes to Japan, they'll, especially an athlete, a sumo athlete like Ichinojo, because to be honest with you, they'll change their names to a Japanese sounding name. And when you see him walking the side of the road, you won't know that he's Mongolian until he tells you that he's Mongolian.
That's true.
Yeah. Because hell, his name here is Ichinojo Takashi. His Mongolian name is Altan Khuyag Ishinoro, I think. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you see the guy, you'd say that, oh, that's a Japanese guy. No, I'm not Japanese. I'm Mongolian. I just come here to... I was born in Arhangai, Mongolia. So I just come here to do sumo wrestling for Minato stable. And then you'd be like, oh, shit.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed about all of them, they seem to be some of the most gentle people. They're gentle giants, every one of them.
Oh, of course.
You see them out in public, and they're so polite. They're so respectful.
Of course. That is actually his nickname, Ichinojo, the sleeping giant. That's his. That's what people lovingly call him. He's a sleeping giant. But yeah, generally speaking, Mongolian sumo wrestlers are among the most gentlest people because they know. I think it's more because of they know that they came there to make money for themselves and their family, just do their job and whatnot, and they respect the customs. That's why Japanese people tend to at first they were how to say reluctant to support these kind of guys, but when they actually bring it, they actually do their work. Japanese traditionalist thoughts and Japanese traditionalist customs come into play. They respect the whole the process and procedures of the sumo tournament and the sumo regulations, and that's where the love comes in. Okay, I respect him because he respects me first. So there you go.
Exactly.
So next up on our list, besides are the two Komosubis, we have Mitakumi, and Endo finally makes the Sanyaku ranks.
Ugh. Even though he's with a 9-6 disadvantage. But then again, Mitakumi has the worst among the two. So that's that.
Mitakumi's had a bit of a slide to start off 2018. He's had a bit of inconsistency, partly due to injury and partially due to opponents figuring out Mitakumi's wrestling style.
Yes. Yes, and it started happening actually at the end of 2017 in the November Basho. And believe it or not, one of the first ones to figure it out was Tochinoshin.
Oh yes,
he made Mitakumi look bad. He did.
I think that was the trigger that so Toshinoshin did this, I can do this too.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know they all watch film. They have to.
They have to. This is sumo wrestling. Of course, they're gonna have to watch. They're gonna have to study the whole opponents. This is how their style. This is how they wrestle. Whether they prefer pushing thrusting moves opposed to fighting, or opposed to grappling the guy, or opposed to just grab the mawashi and then toss them to the side. That's and they wrestle for stables. Of course, they're gonna do something like that. Especially if your stable is as big as say Kakuryu or even Tochinoshin for that matter. So yeah.
Well, right now Tochinoshin, I believe with his stable, in his stable, he is the highest ranking Rikishi they have.
Yep.
So he's like
all pressure's on his shoulders. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's carrying the name of the stable right now.
Because of course you have two Yokozunas who are out in Kiseno Sato and Hakuho. Then you're only left with Kakuryu. And then you have the two Ozekis coming up, and then you have Tochinoshin, one of the Sekiwakes. So of course they're going to.
Well, the thing about it is that Tochinoshin is going to have his toughest competition in this Basho yet.
Of course, like I said,
he is going to have to fight all the top guys for sure.
For sure. I mean, he needs to get 10, at least 10.
And they're going to make his road difficult.
Yeah. Because people are saying that people over here are saying that this is the final act of Tochinoshin's Ozeki run. This is the last hurdle for him to go get the Ozeki.
I think he knows it. I think he's just going to come out and be quiet, not say much, and just do his job, and let the chip. All he could do is let the chips fall where they may. Endo, I was glad to see him get it. I knew at the end of last Basho he was going to get it.
Well, he's making sure one, and was probably the only person that was at rank that could snag that particular promotion because of the fact that all the other guys around him struggled massively.
Yes, they did.
So Endo is stuck in the position known as what I nicknamed the wall. Komosubis and Sekiwakes are on the front end of the wall on the one side, and then you have the Megashira wrestlers on the other side.
Yep.
This is usually where some of the most competitive amount of sumo appears in this particular area. Everybody fighting for the top positions on the Kombosubi or Sekiwaki ranks. And, Endo is right in the middle. And I think he can probably handle that position at this point. He might finish 9-6 yet again.
Yeah. And maintain his position.
Yeah, true.
The best way to explain it to people that are listening and watching is those two, Endo and Takayumi, are the gatekeepers to the upper echelon, upper ranks.
Yeah. It's basically like you have 4 gate guards and you have 2 Sekiwakes and 2 Komosubis, sometimes free in each one of the divisions, depending on what happens. And it's Mitakumi and Endo's turn at this time for the Komosubi side, and Ichinojo and Toshinoshin are Sekiwakes.
Yep, that is true.
Anyway, the people knocking on their door are former Komusubi and Sekiwaki Tamawashi, who also originally studied to work in the hotel industry.
Yeah.
So he's looking beyond sumo, which I think is smart. They can only do this for so long before the body just breaks down to the point. We can all look at who is Uncle Sumo, Mega Share 16 real quick. Uncle Sumo, Amanishiki.
Mhm.
Ah, okay.
That poor guy, he must have some serious debts. If he's still wrestling with his knees as bad as they look.
Mm.
Mm.
I don't know. I think he just likes going into the ring.
Yeah, he just likes going into the ring and just bust his knee again.
Mhm.
If you want to get into that, but hey, it's not that. I don't think it's more. It's not because of him having debts or anything. More his pride. It's
Yeah.
more his pride. I think. I believe it's more his pride.
Mhm.
You know, because he had slipped down.
Mhm.
He was
Oh, of
not.
course.
He had slipped out of Mega Share ranks
Mhm.
in January.
Mhm.
He basically he did a free fall. I think up from Megashira 3. I think if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
3 or 4.
he got injured and was at Mega Shira free, and then slipped down.
And
to
then he
zero.
went into a free fall up to Megashira 16, which is wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, the group I hang with, the group I watch with, we call him Uncle Sumo.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no,
Consider-
Tamawashi and Kaisei, the Brazilian,
Mhm.
is he did well in the last Basho at 90. I think it was what 96 or was he 8-7?
Let me check here. Yeah, Kaisei did very well in the last Basho. He's been comfort for him since going down to Jurio, and actually, no, he finished 12-3 last Basho.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
He finished 12-3 in the spring
He
Basho.
was runner up if I'm not mistaken.
He was one of two runner-ups because
Right.
Takayatsu was the other.
Right.
And now he's ranked in at number 1 Megashira. Previously he was
Megashira 1.
previously he was at Megashira 6. So that's a big leap, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but the rest of them in front of that were in front of him struggled.
Yeah, he flourished when everyone else floundered. So that's
if you think about it, it's the same thing Tochinoshin did when he got moved to Sekiwaki. Everybody else floundered, and he had a brilliant Basho in January.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Taisei has a very basic style of sumo, but it works for him.
Yeah.
That's
He's
true.
young yet, though.
Yeah, and I think that's an advantage for him because he's young, he's learning, and he does something that's simple, no fuss, no frills, no hassles or anything else, but it works. And look at what he did. He got into number 1 Megashira, maybe knocking on the doors of Komusubi. Hopefully so, if he does well. So anyway, biggest question then. Biggest question for you two then. Are you looking forward for the Summer Basho?
I am.
Yeah. And still putting all your chips on Tochinoshin getting Ozeki.
Yes.
Okay.
Tochinoshin's my man. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, for me personally, it really doesn't matter to me who wins or who loses in this situation. I always enjoy watching the boss shows from just the general perspective of watching from the Megashiras duking it out against one another to, seeing the upper-ranked wrestlers facing off against one another. It's always going to be a really interesting time. As far as winners go, I'm going to go with a surprise pick.
Okay.
I'm thinking that Endo might win this boss show.
Ooh,
oh, interesting.
that's interesting.
He's in a good position at Komusubi West, and he had a solid couple of boss shows. If people flounder up above him, either it's going to be Endo, Takayatsu, or Toshinoshin, possibly.
Yeah. Because to me, Endo has been doing consistently on a 9-6, 9-6 basis, I think, during the past 2-3 bashos previously, and he's still floundering between the number 1 Megashira and Komusubi, but basically he's in a stable position to push upwards. So we'll have to see about that.
Also, pay attention to Megashira 13 West, Oyama.
Okay. Oyama.
Because even though he didn't have a good May Basho last time, this is around the time where he started getting good and had a really good Basho in July. He's a Megashira 13 West and could have a solid record. A lot of the other guys in the Megashira lower ranks could have decent results in this particular Basho. And we also have a Makumochi debut in Kuryu Taisei, who is a wrestler from the Toizuma stable. He's at Megashira 15 West. Has primarily been a Jurio wrestler for most of his career, and
somehow he jumped rank from Kyoku Taisei, jumped rank from Jurio 1 to Megashira 15. Good job for him. I mean, there's a few who made the jump. Ishiki, Kyoko Taisei, Takekaze, Sadanomi, who from J4 Jury 4 jumped to 14 Megashira.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest one, I think he's the biggest one. I think from Jury 4 to Megashira. Megashira 14. No, Sadanomi.
Sadanome. Yeah, because he was the champion in the last tournament in the Juria division. 11.
That's right, Sananomi. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He did. But okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
all in all,
and there's this one young guy, new kid, and I can't think of his name. I have to look it up. He's in the lower ranks, and I get to see him. I think he's in Sandame. Let me look.
Is he from east or west?
Not sure.
Okay.
I'll recognize his name if I see it, because they did a thing on him during the last Basho. Ah, crap! I can't think of his name now. When I see it again, I'll know it.
Okay, but okay.
He made he didn't do very well.
Okay.
He was like
5 and 10, or what?
Something like that. 5 and 10. He's small. He's very small.
5 and 10, or 3 or 8. I don't know.
He's very small.
Okay, fine.
He's
There's
like 100 and no, he's about 100 kilos max. He's small.
Okay.
And these big boys just push him around.
Are you thinking of Ishura?
What's it? Ishura?
Ishiura? Yeah, Ishiura.
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
One of the smallest in the top division.
He's currently at Megashira 13. So his record in the last Basho was 7 and 8. And previously he was also Megashira 12. So he dropped one spot. Basically.
One of the ones other ones that impressed me was Tochi Hozan. Tochi Hozan. He is someone that I'm keeping my eye on. Young kid. Megashira 15 now had a good basho, I believe, last week or this past one.
Yeah, last basho. I mean,
oh no, he was 5 and 10.
Yeah, he did. I think he did okay, judging from the fact that he had to face a lot of the big boys who actually had to prove themselves to the spring basho at that time. So
yeah, I mean, he took on the likes of Okinumi, Asanoyama, Takada Fuji, Yoshikaze, Ishura. Yeah, he had a lot of work ahead of him.
Takakeisho is at Megashira 10, and that's a guy that's relatively scary. He's a small wrestler, 5'8", but he's got a lot of mass.
Yeah. But he's also he needs to prove something because he fell from Megashira 3 to Megashira 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be scary. But anyway.
I'm surprised Takanohana hasn't shot him yet. Takanohana does not play games, man.
No, I know.
Takanohana has not had a good year so far.
No, he hasn't.
2018 is not the year of Takanohana. So there's that. You can just say that. Anyway, I think both of you would enjoy the summer basho ranking, the whole thing. Rankings look okay. Hopefully Kiseno Sato and Hakuho make their way. Hopefully they'll make it. If not, that means you have a lot more youngsters to look forward to. Both of you.
Poor Kakuryu, if he's the only one there, he's going to have a big target on his back.
Yeah, because he's the only Yokozuna up there.
I know.
He's gonna be a big target.
Yeah, depending on if Hakuho or Kiseno Sato appear at this basho. If they don't, then okay.
Here, Kakuryu, one huge ass target for you. Everybody.
At least it isn't as ugly as this Chris Jericho shirt that I just seen. This Nobles de Jericho.
Ugh. I mean, have you looked at the logo for that? For that he created? I think that was ridiculously as Jericho as he can put it.
Oh God.
And
I've not seen it. Do I need to see it?
Yes, go check. Okay, it's on Cage Side Seats. Go check it. Yeah.
Oh God.
It is fucking insane. Los Ingobernables de Jericho.
Lista Ingobernables de Jericho. And it has two lists on the side. And it has Chris Jericho's ugly mug on the side of arm patch of a t-shirt.
Yeah, because the logo is supposed to be a mockery of Los Ingobernables' own logo.
Los Ingobernables de Japón.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's blue. It has the two list logo on it as well. And yeah, funnily enough, Lista Ingobernables de
List, L-I-S-T.
Lista, Lista Ingobernables.
Oh, God.
It's just, oh God! If you think that the whole the Alpha Club was hilarious, this one it takes the cake for being hilarious on its own right.
It looks like somebody who's been at a rock concert for a very long time would wear. You know, it's like that really old, out of touch T-shirt. And this is listed Ingobernables de Jericho. I think Tetsuya Naito right now is currently bashing his head against the table or the wall at this point.
He is not being Ingobernables if he does that. He needs to chill. But then again, he got his head rung up.
It's Chris Jericho. There's no way to be chill around Jericho thinking, oh God, what is the Gaijin gonna do this time?
I mean, good job on him for actually pulling a smoke and mirrors, saying that, okay, I'm not coming back to NJPW. Bang! He comes back on Wrestling Dontaku. Sorry to spoil it for you, Taker, but he did come back.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
Bang! He's there.
I'm happy.
He showed up initially under a mask.
Yeah, he did.
So I'm aware.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm more happy for the new Bone Soldier than I am for Jericho returning to play.
Taiji Ishimori, good on him. Good on him. I'm not. I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Would Taiji Ishimori tries to have a go with the Bullet Club, because he's been on a roll lately. So there's that.
All right, shall we move to SmackDown? Because I see that people in the chat room are getting bored with sumo, unfortunately. They don't share the love that I have and that Fizz has for it. So,
excuse me while I go press the button to summon a large amount of giant sumo wrestlers to squash them into a million pieces.
Well, let me just list down. We have Dennis, we have Metal Matt, we have who else? Who else there? We have your wife.
I don't think she's what. Are you still there in the chat room?
No.
She's over there shaking her fist going, sort of, kind of.
Sort of, kind of. Okay. Anyway, so
I'll just move over to the left, LL, and move over to the left, and hang on, let me press the button.
Sure.
There we go.
Sure.
Uh-oh, Matt, Dennis, you better run and hide.
Better find your nuclear bunkers quickly, because
we've got Mega Ichinojos. We got several Ichinojos coming after you.
Yep. Somehow. Anyway,
we'll send the biggest wrestler, right?
Yeah.
With a ginormous pamphlet showcasing the ways of sumo wrestling. All 10,973 pages of the art of sumo wrestling.
Yes. And it's not that the steel doors will stop him, because he'll eat the steel doors. I had to say it.
I know you did.
You can't blame me for saying it.
There was one night that we were doing it, I was laughing so hard I damn near wet myself at work. That's no shit. God's honest truth. We were saying so we were laughing. All of us were just laughing so hard about Ichinojo eating everything into place. Going through concessions and eating all the sushi and all.
They have fried chicken at the Coco Gigan. They actually bake it at the Coco Gigan.
Yep. If that is not enough, they can have a chanko nabe or anything.
Which I would love to find a recipe for that and make sometime. I really would. Just to try it.
It's basically meat stew. You can stuff everything in there. So you can I think you can find the recipes.
I'm sure I can.
Until I crack more jokes on it. Let's crack on SmackDown.
Yes.
So Charlotte has become a professional table thrower, apparently.
Yeah. Apparently, yeah.
Which it was nicely done.
Yeah. Beck Cass apparently loves,
because when she did the contract, that was the last thing I expected from Charlotte. She was sitting there so calmly, and Bella's doing all her shtick with the belt and all this stuff. Charlotte signs, sets it down, and then jumps up and slams Carmella through the table, and I'm like, "Holy shit!"
And then tosses the table into her face. Yeah.
I was like, "Oh wow, where did this come from?"
I mean, because like, here's the thing, I like what they're doing right now with Charlotte, Becky, and Asuka being this team of super faces who are just all getting along due to their love of robes, and Asuka not tearing through Charlotte's rope collection this time. So
yeah, okay, I realize it now. Yeah, all three of them wear robes. Okay.
Becky wearing a robe? Well,
she's wearing a trench overcoat, I think. You could say that.
She's wearing some kind of steampunk-ish overcoat.
Yeah.
But overcoat. Yeah, you're right.
You can't. Basically, you can't really blame the whole main event, the 6 women tag match between the faces and the heels. Charlotte, Asuka, Becky versus Carmella and the Iconics.
Oh Jesus.
You know it's gonna happen. You know, me talking about the Iconics is gonna get someone up into an orgasm of sorts. So there's that.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
This is true.
Let's focus on the whole tracks, okay? Because first of all, we have the Miz TV with Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, and Shelton Benjamin.
Shelton Benjamin, who was also here.
Yeah, Shelton Benjamin, who's also here, somehow got divorced with Chad Gable.
And and Shelton Benjamin is finally healing it like he always did.
Yes.
He was great as a heel. As a face, I just couldn't buy it. I wasn't buying it.
That's true. I mean, okay, here's my comment on it. And I think I'll throw more charms over at Taker because I think he might agree on this one. Miz is at his best when he's poking at things. Basically, if he's the one starting the whole mess of things, he's the best at it. He's best when he's instigating them.
Well, the question I have is this. Sorry to interrupt you there, MDS, but...
Sure. Go ahead.
Why are they rehashing...
Orton and Hardy?
Because they're rehashing Balor and Seth.
Sure, yeah.
Same freaking storyline. Hello, WWE. We've already seen this. I'm bored with it. I'm bored with it. Give me something else. Give me something with teeth or something with substance that I can sink my teeth into. No, they give me the same rehashed goddamn storyline. Why?
Okay. Fine. It does feel like a rehash of Miz and Orton, Miz and Rollins and Balor, the whole thing. But they have to start somewhere with this. And Miz is great at just starting things. And of course, he's gonna poke and prod Orton and Hardy together to have a feud with one another. He can manipulate them to fight, basically taking advantage of an opportunity to win the title. He's gonna take it. I hate to say this, but he's one of the ultimate opportunists now. I'm sorry, Adam Copeland. I can't say that much.
No.
But and of course, Shelton Benjamin is starting to heal himself up, like Fizz said. He made a good point, basically bringing up his victory over Orton. And he's offended that he's not getting a title shot. So yeah, even though the whole thing that tag team matchup player, it's predictable, but everything surrounded it well executed. Even though we already had seen it before, it's just well executed. No complaints on it.
I think in this case, it's a little bit different than Balor and Finn, whereas Balor and Rollins, it's more of a friendly competition. With Hardy and Orton, it's less
competition.
It's less of a friendly competition and more of a level of a one-upsmanship in this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think you also add Shelton Benjamin into the situation, and you have a guy who could potentially be an instigator in this feud where one of them turns heel, likely Orton in this situation, and Benjamin and Orton joined forces in this sort of weird, like, mid-2000s legacy stable, I guess, is what they're going for.
And the matchup itself isn't that bad. It's good.
Yeah. I mean, Orton's one of the more technical wrestlers, and he always does well on the B pay-per-views. Whenever you put Orton on the A pay-per-views, he struggles. When you put him on the B pay-per-views, he actually does fairly good.
Which is surprising.
Because he's not required to work as hard.
And
Orton,
you were saying...
Orton is what, in his 40s now?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
If I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, and he's been at it for a long time. He's been in the WWE
since 2003.
So he's been in WWE 15 years.
15, yeah. A decade and 5 years. So I'm not gonna knock it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking on everyone on this one because it's more like right now they're testing the waters for all four of these people. Shelton Benjamin taking the pin, logical enough in my eyes because he has the least amount to lose because he doesn't have anything going into Backlash.
No.
Because the real development of this all is Orton and Hardy, of course, because Orton RKOing Hardy, this essentially just dismissing his own claims that all is good between Orton and Hardy. So
I think, to be perfectly honest with you, it had nothing to do with it whether all is good or not. I think it was just Orton sending a message.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I'm your opponent, and this is what could happen to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we have like
same thing that Finn pulled off with the whole Mizraj wanting to reform the Four Horsemen with Balor and Seth and those two clowns. Seth gets Axel over the top rope. What does Finn do? Comes from behind him, and basically Scorpion death drops with an elbow. To say, hey, don't forget about me. I'm here too.
So we have 9 matches on this show, 1 on the pre-show. So there's 8 matches for Backlash on the main card so far. The tag teams haven't been announced yet, but it looks like an interesting card.
It does. Yeah. Okay, but quickly back to SmackDown. We have probably the worst segment of all week. I'd say it's the worst segment. Big Cass sending a message to Daniel Bryan, of course.
That's what I thought. This is kind of a similar stick that
Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax is doing?
No, this is similar stick to what Wiley Corbin was doing down in NXT. I don't like indie wrestlers.
Ugh.
Remember that whole thing?
Yeah, but this one.
So this one is like, I'm a big man. He's a little man. He's nothing. I'm going to squash him like a bug. So it's the same rehash shit with a different title on it. That's all it is.
Cash, you do realize you have really long legs, and that psychotic lawn gnome is very good at ripping limbs apart, right?
True.
Cass, I know that you are around the stupidity of the man who was recently sacrificed to the cruiserweight division in the demonic exorcism of that belt and it.
He who shall not be. Who shall not be named is
I'm not trying to name him in this particular case, Taker. And while Carmella is having success with the shiny belt of the women's division, you're decided to pick a fight with a psychotic lawn gnome who just got back into wrestling and really, really, really wants to tear Miz into 50,000 pieces. You're standing in the way of that, Cass. You being the unmistakable brick wall that has no idea what in the literal heck he's doing. You've decided to pick a fight with Daniel Bryan. Congratulations. Enjoy that time off on IR for the rest of the year when he rips your leg into pieces and starts beating you to death with it.
Like I said, this is just painful to watch. Cass is not at all good enough or compelling enough to carry a promo without someone to play off. Having him play off against a physically impaired guy is not good. He's unconvincing. He sounds forced. The resulting bit is a horrific bit of television that did nothing to make the match with Bryan.
But he's getting so much heat for it.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Just because he's getting the reaction doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right thing to do. Even though he did get a good reaction, which is okay.
Well, remember,
yeah,
WWE is good at generating the wrong kind of heat, i.e., Jinder Mahal cutting the racist promo on Nakamura and the racist one, i.e., Alexa Bliss starting cutting a quasi-racist promo that they swept under the rug, only to make her go into the body shaming aspect of Nia Jax. Hello, wrong kind of heat.
Wrong kind of heat, but the end result was Alexa got squashed by the Invisible Wrestler. And Big Cass, now trying to face against the small wrestler in Daniel Bryan, likely is going to end up in a situation where Cass has his legs ripped apart by the psychotic lawn gnome.
Good luck, Big Cass, for surviving it. I wish you well.
I mean, at least
Hopefully you don't break anything on your body as much as Daniel Bryan is going to break every single limb on your body for that one. please don't get injured again. I'm just worried. Worried. From the worst promo that I've watched this week to might probably be the best promo I watched all week. The whole Shinsuke Nakamura demanding an apology from AJ Styles.
That was fantastic.
Yep.
That was absolutely fantastic.
I'll start off with this. This was an extremely well-executed segment that it provided the final hype for a showdown. This built up very, very well for the final showdown, leading to Backlash between Styles and Nakamura. Funnily enough, foreshadowing a rivalry between AJ Styles and Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Just that, yeah. And Joe looking so excited or so eager just to face Nakamura when the opportunity presented itself. Just to me, I think it feels or suggesting that he might well be next in line for a title opportunity, irregardless of who wins the top prize in SmackDown. If AJ wins, he's gonna face Samoa Joe, or if Nakamura wins, Joe's gonna face him. So yeah. And like Takers, go ahead. Sorry.
And this might end up being a freeway match between Joe, Nakamura, and Styles. Continue.
And
Not this time. Not this time.
Not this time, but at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, probably.
That's Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
probably so. It will create money because these three getting. I mean, like Taker said back in the pre-show, this guy has been spectacular when he turned heel. The taunting villain who stands tall when catching Styles off guard or attacking him by breaking his nuts 3 times already. So
3 or 4 times, and then during a house show doing the same thing to Daniel Bryan. Great way to generate even more heat on himself. You know.
And I am so thankful to AJ Styles that he already has kids, or because those nuts. Ooh.
Well, we'll also apply this to Daniel Bryan as well, because Breville is probably going to likely kill Shinsuke at some point.
Oh yeah! How dare you crush the nuts of my man? We still need babies for our vegan family
and for our next generation of professional wrestlers.
Yes, I can't rely on Birdie Joe to carry the Daniel Bryan.
Especially when she turned heel on me by not being born on Earth Day.
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm just having fun with that kind of carry. But hey, I agree. Nakamura was decent as a face. Now he's excellent as a heel. And like I said numerous times already, this foreshadows him as Chaos Nakamura back in NJPW.
Oh yeah, he's gone back to Chaos form,
Yeah.
And AJ Styles is going, oh no, what have I gotten myself into this time?
Of course.
Wrestling gods, did I do something wrong? I can't feel anything in my legs no more. What's he gonna summon against me this time? A pack of angry sumo wrestlers?
I am waiting to see Shinsuke in this no DQ match. What kind of does he go full strong style? That's what I want to see.
I think so. Full strong style Kinshasa in the nuts.
Ooh. Ow! Just the thought of that is like my nuts crawled up in myself and said, no!
AJ,
we're not coming out.
So I want to ask you too. Since that Haruki Sumi guy debuted at the Greatest Royal Rumble, is he going to interfere in this match? I mean, because it's one thing for Nakamura to uppercut AJ Styles' gonads into oblivion. It's another thing for Shinsuke to snap his fingers and suddenly a horde of sumo wrestlers appear and maul AJ Styles to death.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, considering that it is close to the Natsubasho, yeah, you can say that. Snap. A whole lot of Azekis come in, along with Hiroki Sumi as well. And then it can massage to the nuts. AJ, if you're listening, invest in a jock strap.
A cup.
A cup.
A prayer. Cup. The Holy Grail. Anything at this point, because you're going to need every single implement to pray for your literal life against Shinsuke Nakamura, because this guy is coming for you, and he's coming to take that shiny thing away from you.
If he doesn't come for the shiny thing, at least he's going to come with your to your nuts.
Here's the thing: if Haruki Suni shows up, then that's a formation of a faction.
Sure.
I don't
But
think Haruki Sumi is going to be someone that.
I think he could
I
be
don't
played.
think he's ready to be on the main roster, to be perfectly honest with you.
Sure.
Oh,
Because
no.
I
no,
was
sure.
telling Legends Lover yesterday that there were 2 wrestlers that the Saudis wanted that were dead.
Yokozuna and Ultimate Warrior.
Yokozuna and
Yeah, they
Ultimate
wanted
Warrior.
Yokozuna and Ultimate Warrior.
They didn't realize that.
They didn't realize that both of them had passed away.
Just
Which, you know, that shows you just how much of a sheltered life they all live over there.
yes, that's true.
Well,
I
I'm
won't-
thinking in this situation that Sumi will be the guy because Nakamura said that no speak English promo.
Yeah.
Well,
He's the
Haruki Sumi
translator?
will be the guy that actually does the promos for Nakamura.
I could see that.
In Japanese? Really?
I'm sure his English is probably half decent.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, he actually, believe it or not, I looked him up. He was a Rikishi.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He had about a 500 record, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he didn't do bad. He just never made it up to. I think he was in the second lowest division, or first lowest. I can't remember.
I think he was in Juryo at one point, and the second high.
Yeah, he was a 12-year sumo wrestling pro, 12-year veteran actually. His name is actually Hisho Fuji on the sumo scene. So he started on in 2005 up to 2017. Started off on a 22 bout winning streak, I think. So yeah.
And now
somehow he's here. So yeah, there's that. So, but in any case, we have two more
segments.
cards. Yeah, segments with Xavier Woods with Sheamus. The rivalry between the New Day and the Bar manifested again in a singles match between these two. The match itself, fine for what it was. You won't really remember it for what it is, but both of these guys are actually underrated at this point in their careers. I mean,
yes,
it's harmless fun, basically. I'd say that this is harmless fun because Sheamus is bulletproof. So loss to Woods doesn't really hurt his credibility. If anything, it springboards the rivalry forward between the Bar and the New Day. So there's that.
Yep.
So this is harmless fun.
Next week or next Tuesday, are we going to have Cesaro versus Kofi or Big E?
I hope it's going to be Big E. Because, yeah, I'd love to see more of Big E in the singles match. So there's that.
I would too.
Yeah, because this is just harmless fun. Basically, it's just filler match you can run before we were introduced.
And it was a solid match. I mean, Xavier Woods has improved a lot too.
That's correct. I mean, I'll agree on this one though. It serves as a filler up to the main event where you see the 6 women tag match. So, yes, Metal Bat, we are going to talk about the Iconics. Yes, we are.
And Becky.
Yeah, and Becky.
Oh my goodness!
Get your paper towels ready, boy.
Get your paper towels. Get your puke buckets. Get your tear cups ready because this is the most interesting story heading to the match. Actually, this is not, and the whole interesting story of the match isn't the rivalry between Charlotte and Carmella over the title, but rather Becky Lynch is mounting frustration with herself. So here's the track record. She blamed herself for her and Asuka's loss last week. And then after not being anywhere in sight for the closing moments of the match, well, she's going to likely consider herself the weak link again next week. Whether that leads to a refocused, re-energized, renewed Becky Lynch going forward remains to be seen. To me, I think it's an element of this version of Becky Lynch that's worth keeping an eye on. So, yeah, thumbs up. This is a new development for Becky Lynch. Let's just hope that this leads to something for Becky Lynch rather than her being the uber babyface that everybody likes to love.
And constantly jobs.
I think I'll put the bulletproof vest over Becky Lynch as well. So,
I mean, for me personally, I'm not really sure. I've always been like consistently meh or middle of the road about Becky. I think she works way too goddamn fast with the green wrestlers or the inexperienced ones. Her promos, she basically is Dean Ambrose level with me as far as promos are concerned. I can barely understand what she's saying, and I'm Irish. I'm Irish. I actually understand Irish. Every time that
Okay.
Becky talks, it's like, Becky, what was that? What were you saying there? You know, so you have that problem there, and then you have now in this situation, you're developing a story between likely her, Asuka, and the Iconics.
Probably, yeah.
And I just had to pause for a second because I had to say the word Iconics. I am so happy that those irritating banshees are finally on SmackDown. I mean, because one of my friends, Leap Saxon, is actually doing a watch of NXT at this point, so having to not worry about those two bullies on the NXT roster right now is a relief.
The perfect trio for that is Carmella and the Iconics, and all three of them are screaming banshees.
Well, Carmella, here's the thing. Carmella is an opportunist, unlike the Iconics. The Iconics are schoolyard bullies who have all grown up, who are the kind of people who will viciously beat people up, because that's the thing. They may look pretty, but it's like
they can kick your ass.
But it's like dealing with a poisonous plant. It's still dangerous.
Here's the thing: you're facing against Poison Ivy and say who's the next one there?
And they lost Las Vegas showgirl dancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically that's what you're facing in this situation in Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. The two of them are absolutely vicious, and they added a mention to Carmella's, I don't know what you would call it, the Jersey Triad?
Jersey Triad. Oh, God. Please.
I mentioned the Jersey Triad. That was actually a stable in ECW.
Yes, I know.
No. No.
That floundered terribly.
No. Please don't wish. Please don't wish ill will.
Wait a minute. Wasn't New Jack part of the Jersey Triad? No.
No, it was Bam Bam, Shane Douglas, who calls himself a franchise. I don't know why he calls himself a franchise of restaurants, but that's but then again, he is from Pittsburgh, so
Sure, yeah, sure.
But she's like in this she's in this international Jersey Triad with the Iconics, who are both from Australia.
Yeah, like I said, 3 screaming banshees.
But each of them are different. Like I said, Carmella is the opportunist, where she now has the shiny thing. And the thing is, with the shiny things in the women's division, the overall division is what you should be focusing on, not necessarily the champion in that situation, because again, it's the belt. It's a mainstream belt for a mainstream company. I'm not really all that interested in who's holding the belt in that particular moment.
Yeah.
That's true. I can see your point. So,
yeah, but okay. I'll do this as a quick favor. Kay and Royce, in their first opportunity to headline a main roster show, performed up to the moment. Give enough hope that they can thrive on the bright nights and Tuesday nights. That's it. They proved to my eyes that they can survive in SmackDown, in the SmackDown landscape, in the SmackDown women's division. They can do it, even if they're not the conventional prototypical workers like Lynch, Asuka, and Charlotte are. They can do it. Whether it be them being a team or being a solo wrestler, that's up to debate. So they basically, it's a good match to watch, because babyfaces won. Of course, the hot tag goes to Asuka. Asuka exploded into match late, tapped out Royce to the Asuka lock, securing the victory. Get a measure of revenge for last week's loss. Still, Becky Lynch is pissed off at herself for not bucking up to the trend, but we'll see. Because she's the one who's taking the whole concentrated babyface comeback thing. So.
But the thing that I like was the promo in the back that Becky was sitting there knocking herself, and then Asuka saying, "When the Queen and the Empress work with straight fire," and I was like, "Damn, Asuka, that was good. Where'd you pull that one from?"
I'll say Asuka is underrated in giving out pros, because she's actually quite good, and she actually has a charm on her own if you let her loose.
I mean, she's so relaxed now because she lost the streak, which is a big relief for her.
Oh yeah, it is. I can see the difference in how she is now. She's not under that stress, and I think it was time. Granted, I didn't like it, but I accepted it.
Yeah, it was
unlike some folks around here and in the threads can accept the truth of their favorite, of what's happening to their favorite. I've accepted the truth of what's happened to mine. But I digress.
Yeah, there's no need for it. I mean, okay. Comparing the two, of course, I'm gonna say SmackDown has the better show.
Yeah,
I'd say they're even.
Oh.
I remember last year or the year before when the brand split happened and everybody was basically throwing up their flags and saying Raw is the better show. No, SmackDown is the better show. No, NXT is the better show. The Precious is the best show of them all. So, for me, I usually took a stance of neutrality in this situation, and unlike most situations in neutrality, this actually works. So Raw has a lot of people from SmackDown, and SmackDown has a lot of people from Raw on it now that they're trying to rebuild and do other things with. So far, both sides are doing okay. They're doing okay with the stuff that they have. Raw has a good upper card. SmackDown has a general overall roster that's decent. My theory is that, like I said on the last show, I believe it was, I think that this Saudi show was partially an attempt to try and abandon Vince in a Saudi Arabian desert.
That didn't work.
That didn't work, as suddenly at the corporate offices of of Castle McMahon's skull, Vince appears wearing armor that he got from killing a camel.
Yeah. Ha ha ha! I'm still here, damn it!
Can't kill me that easily, Hunter. Now where's my fantasy football league?
Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ!
I didn't know. It wasn't my fault.
We just left we left you at the bar, Fizz.
We left you at the bar, but never mind.
Oh God!
Oh God! Okay.
So which of these 9 matches is going to get the most nuclear heat? I'm going to have to guess Joe versus Reigns.
Oh, of course.
In this one, the roles are reversed. Reigns is going to be the heel by the crowd, and Joe's going
to be the one cheered. Yeah. Yes.
And if Samoa Joe loses,
more nuclear heat. It's going to be. It's going to be enough to heat my home for the rest of autumn.
Okay? They've got to do something for him.
Yeah,
they are. I think they are to do something with him.
I hope they are, because it's time to get some sympathy on Roman Reigns. I think I agree on that one. It's time to get that much sympathy on Roman Reigns.
They got to get some sympathy on him.
Yeah,
they got to do something with him. I mean, like I said earlier, right now Roman Reigns is in the same class as Bayley.
Yeah, I think they're kind of in 2 different realms, personally, but that's just me.
Well, Bayley, after she, losing the title, can't win.
Oh yeah, she can't win, and eventually she's going to blow up, do the most epic blow up ever, and her and the censor is going, her and the person that the censored mode on the TVs are going to have a very nice relationship with one another, because she's going to be shouting all form of profanity.
That's true. And Roman Reigns already has exploded when he feuded with Braun Strowman. So there's that.
I think right now the best thing for Roman at this point is just to have some patience, because what they did is Roman is going, please, Jesus, please, God, please, wrestling gods. And I'm not specifically talking to my fandom here. Please don't do anything to attract Vince's attention or Hunter's attention, because I feel as though that Hunter's the one that's really causing the D-push for Roman here, because he's the head of talent relations.
Probably, yeah. But I think the one who's doing the most damage might probably be Vince himself.
Well, he's distracted by his fantasy football league.
He's going to be.
He is.
He is. He's working on that fantasy football league. They're trying to get a team in Orlando.
Oh, goodness. Oh. Oh, if it's American football, I'll be fine. If it's soccer...
Metal Matt, I hate to tell you this, but Becky is number 3 face behind Charlotte and Asuka right now on SmackDown.
Anyhow, Anyhow,
I hate to bust your bubble there, buddy, but that's the truth.
Yeah, but
And overall in the company, number one face right now, believe it or not, is Ronda. She just destroyed Stephanie McMahon's arm. I mean, she's solidified number one face.
Yeah.
The evil authority bitch was taken down in the most gruesome way, quote unquote.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah, but you haven't seen the last of Stephanie McMahon. That's
yeah, she's out of the Lazarus pits, you know, recovering from the recently removed arm. So there's that.
Trying to find a good replacement for that broken arm already. So,
or just restoring it.
Just restoring it just because she can, and she will.
Okay, real quick on the pre-show, we have Bailey versus Ruby Riott with the Goons.
The Goons, okay.
That's Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan. Yep. Like I said earlier, or I asked earlier, and I'm going to ask Fizz this. What is the reason for the Riot Squad to even be existing? Do you have any idea, Fizz? Because I don't.
It's a survivalist mechanism for the three of them. Ruby Riott realizes that she can't win on her own, so she needs the Goons and Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan. With Absolution now defunct, there's now one stable left, which is the Riot Squad. And the Riot Squad, I think, fits a bit better than Absolution did because the freebies, despite the fact that they look different, actually fit together relatively well. Because you've got Ruby Riott, who's basically an anarchist. You've got Liv Morgan, who's the wild child party girl. And then you got Sarah Logan, who's basically the Kane repellent of the show. Because Kane is now on SmackDown and Sarah Logan's now on Raw.
Okay. But I think Kane's going to get his time cut really short because he just won the candidate present. It would just won the GOP in Tennessee.
Yeah, the GOP nomination for the mayor of Knox County. So he's going to be real busy now between now and November.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of times where he puts his Democratic candidate over and then him winning the finale of the match by putting him through a barbed wire flaming table.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course. Would you expect any different from the man now known as Glenn Jacobs?
No. He's going to run him over with that dang smart car at some point.
Exactly. So you can't really blame him on that one. So.
No, but
I think I like the Riot Squad. I think that they're a really solid stable. I know a lot of people are sort of against them, but I think patience in this situation. You're going to have the occasional stable coming into the women's division, and Riot Squad's good. Absolution's currently dissolved. We'll have to see where Rose and DeVille, where Rose and DeVille fit in the SmackDown women's roster, and we'll see where things go from there. And of course, Bailey, I mean, if she wins this match, great. If she loses this match, then it's another step down the dark path of the dark side, and Sasha Banks accidentally unleashes yet another monster on her career.
So we blame Sasha Banks for releasing every single monster that we have known to see.
Oh yeah, Alexa Bliss is one that Sasha created. Same
with
Becky.
Yep. Anyhow, I think that would be it. I think that's enough, right?
So who goes over in that match, Riot or Bailey?
I'm not sure. Might go to Might go to a no contest.
Same here.
Due to outside interference from Morgan and Logan. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
they don't have these matches in order. The next matchup, I don't think they would lead the show off with this. But then again, this is WWE.
Yeah, I agree on that one.
AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura. No DQ match for WWE Championship.
Hiroki Sumi comes and spoils AJ Styles' balls, and then gets another nut shot with Kinshasa on it.
Yep.
So Styles Nakamura, I'm not sure who goes over on this one. I'm leaving it open to interpretation. Rollins is certainly going to defeat The Miz, which will make Taker happy. Hardy versus Orton. Not really sure where this one goes. Might be Hardy going over Orton. Jax versus Bliss. The Invisible Wrestler defeats the 350-pound super heavyweight.
The interesting thing with this is that it says Nia Jax champion versus Alexa Bliss, but it doesn't say with Mickie James.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a Wikipedia article. We're not really sure exactly.
We're not really sure on that one.
Yeah.
But do you think any different if Mickie James is again taken out by Nia Jax again? So yeah.
Carmella versus Charlotte. I'm not really sure where it goes in this situation. We might have
Carmella loses by count out, keeps the title.
Yeah, possibly. Possibly that, or maybe disqualification because Kyle can't change hands via disqualification. So the Iconics.
Or Carmella skips to the championship with the help of the Iconics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that too. The beloved Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe.
That's gonna be a work rate fest because we all know
these two. Yeah,
these two are both solid workers. Both of them are.
Yep.
You cannot dispute the fact that remember people forget. Roman Reigns is the one who made Braun Strowman who he is now.
Oh yeah, certainly. None of us are disputing that in this situation. I think in this particular match, though, it's gonna be really interesting because Samoa Joe's already made his presence felt to the Roman Reigns fandom. Spoiler: they want to cook him alive.
Well, let's put it this way: Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns were headed towards a feud, and then Joe got hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
So they're I think they're just tying up that loose end.
So
it's either Roman Reigns winning just to offset his previous 2 pay-per-view losses, or Samoa Joe wins by cheating. So
so the Destroyer is going to finish off the job that Brock Lesnar did by destroying Roman Reigns.
Of course.
And the beloved Roman Reigns has already had a very questionable month in April and a kind of questionable month in May so far. Then we have, of course, guy with really big legs versus Psychotic Lawn Gnome.
Psychotic Lawn Gnome for the win.
Yeah.
I think Psychotic Lawn Gnome or Cass wins via DQ.
Yeah.
And then we have Team we just started tagging yesterday. Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman versus the Diabolical Canadians and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Oh yes, indeed.
Strowman and Lashley squash Zayn and Owens. Lashley is the face in peril. Braun Strowman's the hot tag, and he kills everybody.
Unless Lashley randomly turns heel without any reason whatsoever. I put that as a small wrench in the way, but
he needs to do his yearly mauling of Kurt Angle. So there we go.
Okay.
And Bobby Lashley accidentally turns face by mauling Kurt Angle.
Oh yeah, interesting.
So yeah, Backlash looks like a really solid card, actually.
Looking like it's going to be a decent to good amount of match, maybe. Because some of them are still up in the air about the results and whatnot.
Yeah, this will be held at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, which should be a fun place to have a show.
Yeah, the home of the New Jersey Devils, aka that arena, believe it or not, is known as The Rock.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's the catch line for Prudential Insurance here in the States.
Okay.
They show the Rock of Gibraltar. That's their logo, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct, Fizz, in saying that?
Yeah, I believe
you are correct. You are correct.
And Hulu and Mattel are sponsoring this event, so this is going to be interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that will be it. That's our show for this week.
Yes.
Quick talk about Raw, quick talk about SmackDown, upcoming Backlash, and even we had a little bit of sumo. So
which was great.
You needed to. You needed to let some sumo knowledge off of your chest, and I brought in someone to help out. Number one, and number two,
I am not very knowledgeable. It's been a bit, and you're the last basho I saw before I started watching last December,
year.
Fizz?
Yeah.
Was when this will tell you how long it's been. When Akibono wrestled, had a suit. They did a basho in San Jose, California.
Yeah,
that was one of the touring shows. I think it was, and that was the last one I saw.
So yeah, you should. I think you should. You should catch this one. This is going to be.
Oh, I haven't missed one since.
Yeah.
Well, I started watching in December, and I was like, oh, I forgot how much I missed it.
Yeah. Okay. I think that will be it. This has been episode 42. I thank Fizz for coming over on such short notice because
it happened to me a couple more times.
Yeah, and I had to because I thought it would be just a good toss up between two, and suddenly with Taker coming in with a little bit of a technical issue, it's going to be a little bit more trickier road to navigate. So I had to call out the bad signal. So here you are.
Thanks for having me on, guys. You can follow me on the Twitters at Fitzpatrick14. I'm under the name William Fitzpatrick. Last week, I released an episode, episode 41, the 1-year anniversary of the revival of Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling. It was a show that covered 7-tier wrestling's Gold Rush event, and it's actually gotten the highest amount of views since I started Wacky World of Wrestling back up again last year.
Congratulations.
The last year of podcasting has been a bit of a roller coaster ride. There's been ups, there's been downs, but hey, we're here. It's May, and these two here are going to be talking about their stuff here. And thank you so much for having me on and such short notice. But
you also forgot one other thing, Fizz.
What?
Cage Side Speaks.
Oh yes, Cage Side Speaks. I will be trying to do a Backlash show next week or so. After the Backlash pay-per-view is over, I'll start sending out the DMs to various different folks, and might be having some messages on the daily thread about that, and then over the next couple of days.
Awesome! Congratulations on your anniversary, by the way.
Oh, yes, yes, congratulations on that. We are 10 weeks away.
10 weeks away.
We're 10 weeks away.
It doesn't seem like it's been that long.
Oh no, hell no. I mean, okay. Considering then, okay, we have Taker. Where can they catch you, Mr. Taker?
Of course, you can catch me on Cage Side Seats in the daily and in the nightly. More so the nightly.
Nowadays, yeah.
But nowadays. You can find me on Twitter at TakersMinion, and you can always find me here on Saturday mornings at 11 Eastern, 10 Central. Also, side note, tomorrow the scheduled episode about Bruno Sammartino from Connoisseurs of Wrestling will be live at 11 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow morning. My cohort on that one, Biff Kensington III, had some health issues crop up this week, so we had to keep pushing it, and we're going to be doing a live show tomorrow and a taping on Monday. And Monday show, once it drops, will be about the American Wrestling Association. So keep your eyes open for the drop, and hope everyone joins us tomorrow that was here today.
Awesome.
Senju, where can they find you?
Well, they can find me on Twitter at Mr. Dr. Senju. That's MRDR Senju. They can also catch us on the official Shootin' the Breeze Twitter at Shootin' the Breeze. That's SHOOTINDABREEZ1. Because some bitch just took Shootin' the Breeze. That is just so pissy. And of course, you can also catch me on the Cage Side Seats on the nightly as well as the daily. I am so sorry for not being here this week because I had my golden week. So I'm maximizing that golden week to the fullest potential by staying away from everything.
That's fine.
But that didn't really stop me from actually doing a podcast with a few other friends of mine. So there's that. I mean, of course, one of the friends is actually the one that I have to that we are going to promote. Some of our unaffiliated podcasts. Some of them are members of Los Ingo Bonobese podcast. Yes, whereas some others are outside from it. One of them, which I did an episode yesterday, was with Don Sal Guzmano of Cedar Beach Media for his podcast, Match Fixing. Catch that coming up soon. In a couple of days, because this is the second time I appeared in his episode on his podcast, talking about soccer, of course. Then you have Two Guys One Sport, who did their final podcast for the month.
They did. They're taking a hiatus for the month because they are a bit on the burnt out side. They said.
Yep. And of course, Fizz, I'll have to pay you about $5 because you won the bet in that one.
Oh, there was no monetary things involved in that, but yeah, Two Guys One Sport unfortunately suffered the WrestleMania burnout. It does happen to people around this time of the year. They'll be taking the rest of the May off. They'll be back in June, I believe, for covering one of the New Japan Pro Wrestling cards that will be happening in June.
That will be Dominion.
Dominion. Yep.
Yeah. That would be Dominion. And of course, Violent Wrestling Podcast. They made their return back again with Ambrose Ali, Prince Moxley Lopez. And Wednesday Night Shootin' with Tanya Rogers and Andrew Swift. Of course, we also have For the Love of Wrestling, featuring Miss Monroe and her boyfriend, as well as a couple other friends, as well as Ringside Geeks, of course, with them as well. We also have Queen City Express with Biff Kensington and Ryan Sayo. Ruthless Aggression Podcast, featuring Metal Matt. And of course, MLW hosted podcast, Something to Wrestle with Conrad Thompson and Bruce Pritchard. And What Happened When with Conrad Thompson and Tony Schiavone. Something to Wrestle now has been on WWE Network, I believe.
Yes, it's called Something Else to Wrestle.
Something Else to Wrestle.
With Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson.
Yes.
And that usually comes on Wednesday nights after NXT.
Yeah. So catch any of that unaffiliated podcast. These guys are all of these guys are really great at what they do. If you need a niche podcast to listen to, you can listen to any one of them at all. Especially for Two Guys One Sport, because they're taking a break and you can just catch their previous episodes at your leisure amount of time. Of course, let's not forget KCIT's affiliated podcast with Bitter Boys Club, Not Your Demographic, Keeping Up with the Kayfabe, and of course, Bros Before Elbows. This has been Shootin' the Breeze, episode 42. It is a week of pure unadulterated gold. So it is for me anyways. It is for me anyways. I mean, this is just the golden week. You haven't really heard of me saying about the silver week on September. We have another one coming.
And you're going on vacation next month, if memory serves.
Yes, next month I'll be going on a vacation. That would not stop me from doing podcast.
In Europe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Quick side note on Europe, by the way. Well, we've had the signing of who recently signed by NXT.
Keith Lee and
possibly Walter.
Walter is not signed yet, but we'll see where things go from there.
If Walter signs, I'm going to go nuts. Because the match I want to see is Aleister Black versus Walter.
This is gonna make Taker cream in his pants.
Yes, that will be. And the thing about it is, I don't know how good Walter's English is, but I could see him being put with Paul Ellering.
Oh, okay, interesting.
To help him along.
Yeah.
Or put him along with his partner, Axel Teeter.
Yeah.
True.
It could happen. But I digress.
It's interesting. Anyway,
this has been Shootin' the Breeze episode 42. We'll take I'm Mr. Dr. Senju. That over there is Fitzpatrick 14. That over there as well as TakersMinion. Be nice to each other, will ya? Because usually some of our brothers will always say be nice to each other, but since they're taking break, I'm gonna be the one who's gonna say be nice to one another, be genial, be open to one another, just be nice.
Also, the whole "don't work yourself into a shoot" thing, but sometimes
that's gimmick infringement.
That's gimmick infringement. I hate to go gimmick infringement on Brother George, but I'll say this just once: don't work yourself into a shoot. Courtesy of Two Guys One Sport. Be nice to one another. Be friendly to one another. Treat yourself once or twice. Indulge in luxury every once in a while. And for TakersMinion, I'll catch you next week.
Yep. Episode 42 is in the books and done. See you guys.
Bye.
Ciao.